It's Ottawa U football down to the GG sideline now in Sunil Joshi.
Well, Rod, all week we've been talking about emotion and passion in football. The Ottawa GGs are wearing number 80 on the back of their helmet, and the reason for that is slot back Adam Mayhew. He broke his neck in week 3 against Laval, and you know what? He is with the team. He's sitting in the stands wearing sweater number 80, and he is determined to play football again. Maybe not next year, but he'll definitely play some football. Rod?
Thank you, Sunil, and here's hoping he continues his recovery. On first down, he's out there for Darryl Ray, the wideout, and he picks up about 5 yards for the GGs, second down.
Well, you know, he and the whole GGs really have momentum after the big interception by Brad German on a miscue from Darrell Leeson. They were down there in scoring range. Really, Jamie should have come away with at least 3 points.
Yeah, it looked like Jason Claremont was doing the out, and then he just kind of took his head away and turned up the field, and Darrell Leeson released it thinking that he was doing the out, and German stepped in front and made a nice interception.
Early momentum for Ottawa.
And call it a gain of 3 on that, and second down for Ottawa. Whoa, out of the shotgun, gets by Cote, picks it up, just trying to get it away. They had him, but they couldn't corral him, and he dumps it off. And it's Jeremy White with the ball.
Unbelievable.
How about that for a recovery?
Now, I guarantee you that's not in their playbook.
I guess not. Yeah, but this is the great athletic ability of Phil Cote to be able to make something out of nothing, trying to change the play on the line of scrimmage, and the ball is snapped. He picks it up, breaks a tackle, and finds White open.
That's a nice job by White to get up the field and gets the first down, but you know, I'm sure Phil's going over now to Daryl Hasenberg, his center, saying, what are you listening to? Who are you listening to?
It was on 2, not on 1. It was on 2.
Quarterback blaming his center again. Here we go. And standing under center and rolling out to his left. Complete. Cote finds his man. It's Michael Shaver, the fullback, and another good gain on first down for the GGs. A gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 32.
And 1 of 2 Shaver brothers playing today, of course, Lucas safety. Cote play action pass comes out, and Shaver just leaks out into the flat. Does a nice job of turning up the field right away, getting his shoulders square to get close to a first down.
An exciting start to this Vanier Cup. As the Rams were driving, long interception returned by the GGs, and they've had the ball since then in Rams territory and handing off to big Michael Shaver to see if he can pull his way over and complete the first down, and it looks like he has.
You talked to Frank McChrystal, the head coach for the Rams. Throughout the week, he was talking about Phil Cote and his running ability and his legs, and that was their big concern, which puts the pressure on the defensive ends, basically, for this Regina defense. But you saw Cote, how he scrambled around and used his legs to make a big play out of what should have been a huge loss.
You're right.
It is a first down for the GGs inside the Regina 30. First quarter action here at the Vanier Cup in a scoreless tie over the middle. It's Shaver again. Michael Shaver's been busy and bulling his way down towards the 20. Another long gain. It'll be 2nd and short.
And you know, Glenn, that's a good point that you brought up about the ends working up the field. And you can see Ottawa trying to take advantage of that when they ran the middle screen this time, as opposed to knowing that the ends are going to be really concentrating outside. They get that rush outside. They kind of dump the screen off the Shaver, and he takes it up the middle.
Marcel Belfay, the head coach, right in behind White there, was talking about that, how he can maybe stretch out that defensive line. You know they're concerned about Cote running to the outside.
Second down, GG's. Handing off again, it's Ajram. Ali Ajram, first down and more. It'll be 1st and goal, Ottawa U inside the Regina 10.
Jamie, it's a very difficult situation for defenders on that D-line when you have to be so concerned with the quarterback and the stretch outside. In the CFL, it's like when you play against Damon Allen. The defensive ends have to stay so wide that it puts the inside guys on an island. And right now, Ottawa's pounding it up.
Absolutely. Alan Dagg at the right tackle there. All he had to do was take 1 hard step inside, and then you had Ajram off tackle for a nice game.
This drive started off with a key interception return by Brad German. And now it's 1st and goal. Cote rolling out, taking off. Cote down inside the 5. It'll be 2nd and goal. Marcel Belfay's Ottawa GGs had a good year. Not the easiest road. They had to beat Laval first.
Well, they did put together a very good season, 7-1 during the regular season, just 1 loss to Laval, and of course they beat Laval in the playoffs. big upsets in the playoffs. They had to travel to Laval and then McMaster, and in both those games went without Phil Cote in the lineup, but won on the strength of their defense.
It's 2nd and goal. Gigi's inside the Regina 5. Big play, Ottawa U. Cote carrying again. Touchdown, Gigi's. Cote's the weapon they didn't have their previous 2 games. He gets them on the board first.
And that's the added dimension that Phil Cote brings to this team. You know, the last couple weeks, James Baker's been the quarterback, but he's not known as a runner. When you have a weapon like Phil Cote, you want to use him as best you can. And we saw them earlier. It looks like they were setting up option that time. And he also got a great block by Ali Ajram at the edge to spring him into the end zone. And Marcel Belfoy is a very happy man. Doesn't look it right now, but he's a very happy guy.
Oh, I just love the drive. Pound it up in the middle, pound it up in the middle, and then when you go to score, fake it in the middle, take it to the outside.
It's Jeff Lear to convert for the GGs, and he does. 1 drive for Ottawa after an interception. Hitch Pater. In this Vanier Cup, the GGs lead it early, 7-0. This is Phil Cote's final game in university football, and so far he has made the most of it in this Vanier Cup, passing and running his way down the field and finishing it off with the touchdown. The scoring drive brought to you by Panasonic Palm Link, the only 2-way radio with private talk. 8 plays, 53 yards. Impressive stuff, guys.
Very impressive. You know, they mix the pass with the run, and this is a very balanced offense.
Coming off the Brad German interception, kept that momentum and went and scored on it. 7 points off the first turnover of the football game.
And Glenn Leeson and the Rams moved the ball so well. And they got the special teams to consider as well. And on that return, yardage up close to the 40.
And you know, Marcel Belfay said, one thing I will not do this afternoon is kick to Neil Hughes. And who did he kick it to?
Well, yeah, he told me that too. He said, listen, if we kick it to Neil Hughes, we've made a mistake.
Right.
Well, they didn't pay for it then, as St. Mary's did, kicking to him a couple of times in the Atlantic Bowl, and it really cost them 2 weeks ago.
You know what? We just saw Daryl Leeson come on the field, and one of the things that you notice about him as the game progresses, it doesn't matter if he's ahead by 14 or he's down by 21. He is the exact same demeanor the whole time throughout the football game.
It should be pointed out that on St. Mary's first drive of the Atlantic Bowl, it took them only 3 plays to get a touchdown. Regina came back. Neil Hughes, the ball carrier, gets it up across the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
Well, defensively for the Ottawa GGs, they're a defense that throughout the season gave up just 7 points a game, led by an active linebacking core, and Teddy Neptune is the leader in that group. And in the safety, the only CIAU first-team All-Canadian was Lucas Shaver, and that's for both teams here in the Vanier this afternoon.
Some discussions on the Rams sideline with the defense and adjustments, obviously, that have to be made. But they made them when they looked so porous against St. Mary's 2 weeks ago. Back to pass, Leeson. Complete. No, it got dropped, and it's no catch intended for Neil Hughes, which would have been a first down.
Very uncharacteristic. Neil Hughes, of course, against University of Manitoba in the Hardy Cup, had 10 receptions in that game for over 200 yards. Usually a very sure-handed receiver.
Well,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. I was just saying it's a nice call in the flat because they're playing a zone defense behind it, and they flooded the zone. You see 2 receivers in the same, basically the same area, and that's 1 too many for Ottawa to cover, and you just dropped the football.
What a hero's welcome I'm sure he got getting back to Regina after those kick returns in Halifax a couple of weeks ago when they were down by 12, instantly swinging the momentum back to Regina. But punting here, John Ryan gets it away. GGs have it down at Scott Gordon at the 35. Working to his right, this is a good return. Scott Gordon still on his feet. Gordon down near the Regina 35. Once again, Phil Cote has good field position to work with. GG's with the lead, and they have the ball when we come back. Are down early in this Vanier Cup, but they've been down before, down to the Regina sideline, and Ray Morrison.
Rod and Glenn, you were mentioning how much they love their CIAU football in Regina. On Monday, they had a luncheon, $25 a head. 1,100 people showed up to allow some of the non-players who were not going to dress to come. It paid for the flights. It paid for the entire team to be here. They sold out the banquet room. It was an unbelievable sight, and that has allowed every member of this University of Regina Rams football team to be here today.
It's an excellent story and great support for the Rams over the years and all the years of Canadian junior football.
Well, it's a special province to play the game. It really is, whether it's pro, junior, or college football. The province of Saskatchewan is a special place to play.
Phil Cote and the GGs have it again. The fake finds his man. It's Jeremy White and a first down Ottawa U right away. They're down to the 17, so Regina's defense is backed up against a wall again.
That was a real nice job by Cote to start to go outside like he's going to run bootleg, but he pulls up, sits in the hole, and then delivers a nice strike to Jeremy White.
Yeah, it's nice to see Marcel Belfait running his offense and moving the pocket around. He's not worried about Cote's ankle, and the way he's running, it doesn't look like it's affecting him at all so far.
First down, GG's up by 7 in this Vanier. Handing off there on first down.
Hey, no, Glenn, right there, that's the point you were making earlier. You look at Lee Chirkus, number 64, the defensive end for Regina. He was unblocked. They didn't have to block him. He took himself out of the play by working so hard up the field. They just ran the ball right by him.
And that ball carrier is Maxime Dufault, who hasn't played, what, since week 6?
Well, yeah, he's missed 5 weeks with a hamstring injury. When he started the season, he was putting up numbers that they thought would be comparable to Kojo Adu, who, of course, is the head Crichton winner this year, and for McMaster. Then he got hurt. He's back in this game after missing 5 weeks.
A good gain there. Second down and short. Deep in Ram territory. Handing off again. And it's Michael Shaver, who's had a busy first quarter so far, picking up the first down. It'll be first and goal again for the GGs.
Maxime Dufault's got that great burst, and that's what they love about him. He's the type of guy to take that ball outside and in one play turn a game around. He's got that kind of speed, and then they pound it with Shaver in the middle.
And he's got a very low center of gravity. He's only 5'9", but 195 pounds, all in his legs, it seems. He's down nice and low.
The GGs on the verge of taking early control of this championship game with Cote rolling out left, trying to get in. Touchdown. Touchdown, GGs. Cote once again, as both of them so far, it looked like he barely got in that time.
Designed quarterback sweep. There was no thought in Phil Cote's mind to throw the football. He's got the pulling guard out in front of him, and did he get in the end zone? Yeah, that ball broke the plane. It's the front plane of the goal line.
Absolutely good call by the official, and a nice block by Luc Gilbert, the left guard for the University of Ottawa, to kick out Ian Bonnell to allow Phil Cote to get into the end zone.
The ball barely breaking the plane.
Well, even if the goal line is 6 inches thick, it's the front of the goal line that the ball has to break.
Another convert by Lee. 14-0 GG's first quarter at the Vanier. Well, Phil Cote has 2 touchdowns so far in this Vanier Cup and a 14-0 lead.
Well, it's a quarterback sweep and a good pulling guard, and Luc Gilbert gets out there and kicks out their best tackler for Regina in Jeff Zimmer. Watch Big 53 come around the corner, and that Zimmer, the linebacker, just gets pushed right out of there and allows Cote to get into the end zone.
Real nice job by Phil Cote. It just shows you he's kind of athlete that he is. Realizes outside's not there, makes that hard cut on that bad ankle, and gets in for 6.
On the kickoff, Chris Ashman has the ball for Regina. Ashman, who was given the role of playing Phil Cote during the week of practice because he's the fastest on the team, trying to help that defense out prepare, but Cote has it. A 4-play, 36-yard drive for a commanding lead. The scoring drive brought to you by the Panasonic Palmlink.
Well, the other thing they're doing, and that's a 4-play drive, almost 2 minutes. Their other drive was 8 plays, over 3 minutes. The Regina defense starts to become more and more worn down the longer Phil Cote keeps the football.
So the Rams break the huddle, led by Darrell Leeson. A very calm, composed quarterback, I am sure unfazed at this point. Handing off. and it's Neil Hughes with the ball on first down, getting up across the 30.
And, you know, I think it's important for Regina to do what they're doing right now, not to panic, not to abandon the run game. They're down 14, but they've been down in a lot of games this year that people had them written off, and they've surprised a lot of the pundits by coming back and winning some big games.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look at their 3 playoff games, 3 close playoff games, they won by a total of 8 points in those 3 games. It had to come from behind to do it.
I think they were down by 16 against Calgary with only about 5 minutes left, and they won that one.
They actually got it across the 35 to the 39. We're at second down, Regina. Leeson to throw. Completing his pass, but he took some punishment. It's big Jason Claremont on the receiving end of that, and a first down Ram.
That's Darryl Leeson's favorite receiver. Jason Claremont was the leading receiver in the Canada West this year, second-team All-Canadian. Saw them earlier. They were not on the same page. This time they are. Delivers a nice strike to him and stands in there and takes the big hit from the defensive back, Scott Gordon.
Second-team All-Canadian. Thought he should have been a first-teamer, and there's certainly a good argument to his cause there, the kind of year that he had leading the Canada West in receiving. Under pressure, Leeson, he can run. And he shows it there again as he nearly picks up another Regina first down to the 46. Regina, a tougher road, Glenn, than the GGs had to get this far.
Yeah, Frank McChrystal this year, his team was 2-4 6 weeks ago. No one thought they were going to make it. They won their last 2 regular season games, made it into the playoffs, and then had those 3 stunning come-from-behind victories. That one-pointer against the University of Calgary, won the Hardy Cup on the last play of the game, a pass to Neil Hughes to get past Manitoba, and then that thriller last 2 weeks ago against St. Mary's in the Atlantic Bowl.
Really amazing when you see they beat Manitoba in the playoffs. During the year, they lost 50-1 to that football team.
That's incredible.
Second and short. And just a quick hit in to see if they can get that first down, having to get it up to around the 45 of the GGs, and it's close. They didn't get a lot.
And that's interesting. What you'll see is Claremont in short yardage will line up, get out of his slot position. They'll put him in a fullback. They bring in Zimmer to put him in as one of the blocking backs. They run that power eye, and they give it to Jason Claremont.
And they do get the first down. So, like the Atlantic Bowl, although they were never down by 14 in that game, they're showing composure now. Leeson trying to settle the team down by getting a drive going, just as he did in Halifax. Ball squarely on the GG 45. Throwing again, rolling out to his right. Under pressure. Parody almost got him. He still gets away. Leeson is still on his feet. He's got some room. And is taken down for the longest 3-yard gain you'll ever see.
And what's amazing is that he's a big guy. I mean, he's 6'4", 230 pounds. Looks like he's kind of lumbering out there, but he makes some great decisions here. You know, we saw him a couple weeks ago in the Atlantic Bowl. He had 80 yards rushing and 7 carries. Does a real nice job of knowing where he is. Looks back inside. And Neil Hughes does a nice job here of not cooking somebody. I mean, he just didn't have the block there. And
ran 100 miles for a couple of yards.
4 yards.
There's his Atlantic Bowl numbers running the football. 7 carries, 80 yards. That's a pretty nice average when you're getting a first down every time you take off with it. But he took a big hit at the end of that play from Scott Gordon, and that was very close to being a late hit call.
And it's interesting, the injured player coming off the field for Regina is left tackle Gary Block. And we were told earlier before the game that he was suffering from some kind of malady early before the game. They said he had some stomach cramps. He seemed to be dehydrated. They weren't sure if he was coming down with the flu or not, and maybe the first quarter, the first 15 minutes has taken something out of his tank.
Well, second in line now, so a change of left tackle for the Rams. And Leeson throwing. Under pressure, complete again. Nice catch in a crowd. What a nice pass by Leeson. And a first down Rams.
Well, he did thread the needle to get it in there to Chris Warnicki. And he really just fights for the ball. He comes back to it, and that's the key for the receiver to come back and get some separation between him and the defensive back. In this case was Lucas Shaver, the safety, and just takes that football from him.
Lucas Shaver did a nice job, though, in not interfering, jumping over and trying to knock the ball away. But Darryl Leeson put that ball right on the money.
And the second catch of the day for Warnicki. And a first down Rams. Down by 14, but moving the ball. On the fake. Passing again, it's Claremont. Sure-handed. A big target and a catch there just inside the Ottawa U25.
Well, here's the possession receiver for Daryl Leeson. Jason Claremont. Find a hole in the zone. And I talked to Frank McChrystal about Claremont yesterday. He told me he reminds him a little bit of a very young Ray Elgard. And if you're comparing someone to Ray Elgard, that is very high praise. Not breakaway speed, but a great route run.
Nice big target, too. 6'3", 220 pounds.
Setting up a second and short for the Rams. Getting deep in GG territory. Neil Hughes puts his head down, bulls his way to a first down Rams inside the 20.
And how many times do we see Neil Hughes in the Atlantic Bowl do that? The first guy never brings him down. He always has that great initial contact, bounces off, keeps his feet moving, and then he slides off and makes more yardage.
Just look at the yardage in 3 playoff games for Neil Hughes. 356 yards receiving, 327 in kick returns alone.
The Rams are down by 14 through 1 quarter of the Vanier Cup, but they're threatening here. First down deep in Ottawa U territory after 1 here in Toronto.
This sports break is brought to you by Buckley's Extra Strength Cold and Flu. It's awful tough on the flu.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom. Hope you're enjoying the game. The second quarter is coming up right away. But first, perhaps as a precursor to Steve Alman's official takeover and Wayne Gretzky's involvement with the team, the Phoenix Coyotes have signed unrestricted free agent forward Claude Lemieux to a 1-year contract. Once Gretzky and Alman have control, Lemieux is expected to sign a 3-year, $9 million deal. The 17-year veteran is only 2 points shy of 700 for his career. He has won 4 Stanley Cups and has 19 postseason game-winning goals. He only trails future boss Wayne Gretzky for the record of 24. Elsewhere in the world of sports, to tell you about the NBA, it's Atlanta leading Milwaukee in the 4th quarter, 91-88. And at the Tennis Masters Cup semifinals, Andre Agassi defeated world number 1 Marat Safin. Enjoy the second quarter, everybody.
Through 1 quarter here in the Vanier Cup, many of the numbers are close. However, the most important one, Ottawa U leads in the scoreboard.
And the other thing, I think the other big story here was that 1 turnover that German had the interception on. That led to Ottawa's first touchdown.
Down on the sideline, left tackle for Regina, Gary Block. It's been ill. Stomach problems, and now he is sitting. It looks like he's done for the day.
And there's another consideration here, too, is that all these guys are playing outside all year long, and then they come into the Sky Dome, which is climate controlled, of course. And, you know, it's hot. They're not used to this kind of heat in here. They end up losing a lot of moisture, and they don't take enough fluids. You can see he's starting to sweat a little bit here now, but he wasn't feeling well before this football game.
Well, Gary Block, without him at the backside tackle, they'll go now with Jeff Yorga, and we'll watch that closely because Block has been a consistent performer on that O-line, and that's the backside of Daryl Leeson's passing game.
And Leeson rolls out to his right and looks back, looking all around, barely gets it away, but it's complete. On that first down, to Corey Olenek, his second catch of the day.
Yeah, that was almost a situation where Daryl Leeson had too much time. You know, I mean, quarterbacks get back there and they want to throw on a little bit of a rhythm, but they took away his primary. It's coming out here. They move the pocket to the right side. He wants to come backside here. He looks back. No, it's not there. Ottawa's only rushing 2 people. Does a nice job of just standing in there and finding a receiver.
Yeah, that was the difference. Ottawa, Gigi's going with that 2-man rush and trying to drop everybody and see if they can't double cover receivers and make Leeson become impatient.
Regina, second down. They need some points. Get on the board in this Vanier Cup. Could do it here. Neil Hughes down near the goal line. Just shy of the touchdown. Mark Pretzlaff taking him down, but it'll be 1st and goal, Regina.
This is a sign of a great job by Neil Hughes, great backs, because this play looks like he's starting to go to the right side, but he kicks it outside. Neil Hughes lined up directly behind the quarterback, starts right, but then he wheels it back inside as he reads that block, and then he gets his shoulders square up the field.
Yeah, that block, and the guy he made miss in the open field was Teddy Neptune. I mean, that is one of the strongest linebackers in CIAU this year, and he just kind of made him look very average on that play.
And you talk about Teddy Neptune, and you look, he's a leading tackler at University of Ottawa, but he's only like ranks 22nd in the OQ. But one of the big misnomers there is that this team only averages against it 51 plays per game on defense, so he's not really out there a lot of the time to make those kind of tackles.
Gain of 12, right down to the goal line. At the 1. Touchdown, Regina, with a flag down.
procedure.
You guys celebrate out here.
No flag. Touchdown is good.
It is a touchdown, Regina.
I always wonder that. Why does the guy throw the flag if nothing happened? I mean, he didn't drop out of his pocket. He threw it.
Well, the way he was talking about it sounded like there was a player come on with an ineligible number that reported. And the ref at first didn't think he reported. He went over and said, no, he reported to me. Everything's cool. Touchdown for the Rams. But it was a big drive for Darrell Leeson because momentum was all Ottawa in the first quarter. They had the 2 scores, 1 off the turnover. Leeson now has found an answer.
And this is typical of Regina. Fall behind, start to come back. And it's now a 7-point game with Darrell Leeson's touchdown. It's all quarterback TD so far. 2 for Cote, 1 for Leeson here in the second quarter at Skydome. Darrell Leeson has a Vanier Cup touchdown. He says hi to everybody back in his hometown of Hudson Bay. 11 plays, 77 yards, just what the Rams needed to get back into this scoring drive, brought to you by Panasonic Palm Lake. And that Neil Hughes run at 12 yards, a key play as well. But boy, Leeson, he's got them going again.
You know, we talk about Darrell Leeson and what a great arm he has, and but you know what, the thing that he brought to this football team was a belief that they could win. You know, he'd been in the CIAU for a few years, knows what it takes.
And the Rams defense has had a chance to rest a bit and plot a new strategy for Phil Cote, who's been hard on them so far in this first half. So the GGs will come on for their first drive of the second quarter. They're still with a 7-point lead and can't do much wrong so far with this guy, Phil Cote, scoring both touchdowns, but they've moved the ball very well.
They've moved the ball exceptionally well with him at quarterback. And you got to think, when the last time that Phil Cote was here in 1997, he was banged up prior to coming in here and did not even finish that game against UBC, a game in which UBC beat University of Ottawa.
He's got it going right now, though, for the Ottawa GGs, and he's got it going because of balance. Good running in the middle with Shaver, and then stretching the pocket to the outside with his own running ability.
On the option, tosses it off. Big. Maxime Dufault with the ball on that carry. He had a big gain in the first quarter, and that's another one as the sticks will move. First down, GGs up across their 45.
Yeah, Frank McChrystal told me that this is the way they're going to defend Phil Cote on the option play. They're going to hit him. They want to tackle Phil Cote immediately. Look what they do to him right in the middle of the field. Take that option out of it and get the ball out of his hands. Unfortunately, the guy's hands that it went into, it's pretty quick too.
The Rams are worried about the option. Throwing there, completing to Jeremy White, and another quick hit for a first down for the GGs as they move across midfield.
You know, we've talked a lot about the junior players that are playing, obviously, with the Rams because they all were juniors, but Jeremy White is one of those junior players that is playing for the Ottawa GGs from the Okanagan Sun. Talked to Marcel Belfay before, and he said, yeah, we have 6 ex-juniors on this team. He said, you know, the West always seems to win. They have a lot of ex-juniors. You can't beat them, join them. We got to get our fair share as well.
Okanagan Sun's most valuable player.
He's there. And he was recruited by the Rams as well. But the GG's got him. And they have a first down, and they are moving again. And it is Maxime Dufault again on the carry. Good gain on first.
Again, right now, the Regina Rams defensively are going to have to get some more help in the box. And what I'm talking about is that front 7. They can't rely on the front 4 to stop this running game because it's too diverse. They're running up in the middle, and they're pushing the guys to the edge, to the outside. They're going to have to get more help from their linebackers and maybe even a couple guys from the secondary to try and stop that run.
In the Atlantic Bowl, Luis Perez and Dean Jones, especially Perez, had a field day for a while. They had trouble stopping the run. This and the option. Dufault again, first down and more. Inside the Rams 30.
See Lee Churkas? Lee Churkas, Jamie, right off the edge, takes the option out of the option for Phil Cote. In other words, he's going to force the issue. He's going to say, Phil, I'm going to tell you right now what you got to do with the football. You're going to have to pitch it. And now what Churkas is hoping is that he gets help from his linebackers. Here comes 64 Churkas. Bam, right there in the middle of your screen. He's going to hit him right in the mouth. He gets the ball out there to Maxime Dufault, and now he's got to have help from his linebackers, and he doesn't get it.
That's exactly how you want to play option against a quarterback. You want to make sure he pays the price every time he runs that ball down the line of scrimmage.
It was a gain of 18 for the GGs, and Defoe, he is 46 yards so far in this game. Into the shotgun now. A new wrinkle for Cote, setting up the screen. Big Michael Shaver pulling his way down inside the 15. Touchdown, GGs. And just like that, Ottawa U has answered back and retaken momentum.
The Ottawa GGs got here on the strength of their defense. Well, their defense is right now on the sideline. It's an offensive display by Phil Cote.
And just again, taking advantage of the rush by Regina. They run that inside screen again, taking advantage of working up the field. And Shaver just does a nice job of keeping his feet moving. His feet never stop, keeps him going into the end zone. That's his first touchdown reception this year. And a mighty big one.
Couldn't come at a better time now. 26 yards. And just with the convert coming up for Jeff Leah, it'll be a 2-touchdown lead restored for the GGs. 21-7. GGs. Michael Shaver with the touchdown. Had a good time to get it. This is the Vanier Cup on TSN.
I knew my instructors by their first names. That's how they addressed me. That's how I addressed them.
My experience here it's been amazing.
There's lots of classes to choose from. If you can't take it now, pick it up next semester.
I had my contract signed before I even graduated.
It's just a really student-friendly place to study.
The University of Regina, building dynamic community partnerships.
Phil Cote didn't score the touchdown, but he did a nice job once again, Jamie.
Well, he not only throws the ball or runs with it, he's also a pretty good actor right here. That's what you have to be in order to run screens successfully. Gets back here, looks like he's going deep downfield, gets his feet set, and then he just drops it over the middle to Shaver. They've got the middle screen set up, so the center and 2 guards, and then Shaver just pounds it in here, keeps his feet moving. Big guy, 6'2", 230 pounds, and he's in the end zone.
Good salesman. I'm buying.
Yeah. So Regina.
Oh, and Cote was on the sideline, and Hamilton watching the Churchill Bowl and just praying for his team to get in so he could get one more kick at it. And this is final game. Making the most so far is Corey Olenek on the return for the Rams. And their offense is certainly going to be tested here today with another Ottawa U scoring drive to deal with. The drive brought to you by Panasonic PalmLink. This time, 5 plays, 77 yards the last 3 possessions, guys, resulting in touchdowns.
Well, if you like offense, you got to like this game so far.
No question. Which team gets the ball last? It could be.
Right.
But puts a lot of pressure on Darrell Eason because he's the catch-up quarterback right now.
You know, Darrell Eason just kind of nonchalantly walks out on the field, doesn't want to expend any more energy than he absolutely has to. He knows it's going to be a long day.
You know, and I think coming into this game, Frank McChrystal thought that he would like to see the shootout. You know, and the way this offense has been playing the last 3 weeks throughout the playoffs, they're a high-scoring football team.
Well, I think the other reason, too, is that he knows that his defense gave up an average of 35 points per game this year. He knows he has to be in a shootout in order to win. You know, if Regina pull this off and win this game, that would be the first time ever that a team that had more than 20, or actually the second time only, a team that had more than 20 points scored against it in a season, it was won the Vanier Cup. The last one was University of Saskatchewan in '96. They averaged about 20.5 points a game against during the season. They won the Vanier Cup. Usually, though, if you're winning the Vanier, it's 15 points, 12 points per game.
There's an injured player down there for Ottawa U who has since gotten up and is heading off now. Danny Peterson heading off, and there's Michael Shaver. What a big first half he's had so far. The fullback picking up that 3rd touchdown, and a big smile early on in this Vanier Cup with his GGs leading 21-7. Back to Leeson. Had the big drive the last time they had the ball. The fake, setting up the screen as well to Claremont. Turns it up, taken down. Good gain, about 5 or 6 yards for the Rams. Second down.
And I think, Glenn, you probably have to agree. It's awful tough to run screen when you're only rushing 3 guys.
Well, yeah, no question about it, because the whole idea behind that screen, if you're on defense, you got to be fooled. You got to rush up the field like you're going to sack the quarterback, then he dumps it off in behind you. And right now, Ottawa only rushing 3. They're dropping everybody. So all those guys, linebackers, defensive backs, can rally and make the tackle.
Call it 5. So 2nd and 5 for the Rams.
You're only going to get 1, 2, 3 in there.
Pass Bouncing quickly for the first down and gets it. Corey Olenek, who had a big game for the Rams in the Atlantic Bowl 2 weeks ago, gets the first down.
But how long will Darrell Leeson remain patient? And that's the question, because when you're rushing 3 or just 4, and you know, Jamie, as a quarterback, you're tempted to go downfield, but what the defense is giving you is that underneath stuff. He can remain patient.
Right, and you know, they're forcing him to have to make good decisions all afternoon, because the last thing you want to do against an experienced quarterback, if you want to fire people at him, you got to go in man coverage, and you know, Darrell Leeson will eat you alive. And so their game plan right now is to just contain him, but drop as many people off to defend the pass.
Only 3 coming again, and a short pass again completed to Olenek that time once again. Short gain, though, for Regina.
But there it is. There's the patient passing game underneath. Again, the Ottawa defense just going with the 3-man rush. Darrell Leeson has to remain patient, keep dumping the football, even though he keeps taking an anxious glimpse up at the clock, saying, hey, we're down 21-7. Tempted to go deep, but he can't.
Right, and I think Ottawa are content to play this way as well, because I think what they want to do is come up and make hits. And you notice that all the guys that are getting hit for Regina, the pretty big hits from the guys from the University of Ottawa. Teddy Neptune had a good hit that last one.
There's the 3. We'll go with 4 on this play.
Little more pressure. It's complete and a longer gain for the Rams. First down. Up across midfield.
Well, really what the overall philosophy is, can the quarterback put together 10-play drive?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, and Darrell Leeson is very, very capable of doing that. He's got enough experience. Darrell Leeson was in training camp when I was playing for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in '93 and '94.
You're only 23 years of age, right?
So, how much experience Darrell Leeson had.
Right.
By the way, that was Shane Ostapowicz with his first catch of the day. The wideout being used by Leeson there. Quarterback draw. Leeson takes off, has a first down and more. Inside the 30. Finally corralled by Lucas Shaver and ridden out of bounds inside the 25.
Could Lucas Shaver have got the late hit call on the sideline?
You know, I think he might have, except it's how he brought him down. He brought him down on top of himself. So, but what a nice job by Darrell Leeson. We talk about Phil Cote's running ability. Darrell Leeson just bowls through some people. Can't hand tackle him or arm tackle him. Everybody's calling for there. I guess around the neck, you know, anytime you cut the quarterback's head, usually they're going to throw the flag on you.
And a spray of booze. Definitely Regina fans here today. Gain of 29, Leeson. First down, Rams. Under pressure, he gets out. Directing traffic. Throws it down, nearly picked off. Intended for Claremont in the end zone, and there was some contact there made.
Brad German just did a super job of staying with Jason Claremont, because he tried to run that little out and up. When Leeson started to scramble, he tried to get in behind German. Of course, German has the interception. He had the first one to give momentum to Ottawa early, and he did a nice job of sticking with him there.
And you know what Darrell Leeson's looking at? It initially, when he saw German, he had his back to him, so he thought, I can throw the ball and he can't make the play, but German turned right around when the ball was being released and almost came up with a big pick.
For Brad German, this game is personal. He lost to the Rams every time when he was a member of the Edmonton Wildcats, and he said as much. Seeing all the same faces out there today, this game means so much to him, because he could never beat the Rams in junior ball. Out of the shotgun, quick shovel pass inside to Neil Hughes across the 20, down inside. It'll be shy of a first down, however.
The thing is, Ottawa had that smelled out, but that was a great play by Hughes. I mean, they crushed that right away off the edge.
Well, I don't know how he kept his feet, because you're absolutely right. He's going to come from this side of your screen, and look at this, pow, right in the mouth. But Hughes keeps his balance, comes back the opposite way.
The first guy never brings him down.
Always the sign of a great running back. Make the first guy miss, and Neil Hughes has made number 1, number 2, and number 3 miss a lot of occasions.
Yeah, he has.
The freshman, John Ryan, is coming on. To see if he can put 3 more on the board for the Rams. The ball to be spotted at the 25. A situation Frank McChrystal has seen before with his team down by 14 points right now. And a timeout is called. The GGs take it. Make Ryan think about it a little bit more.
I think they also want to make sure that they've got everything in place in case there's any kind of gadgets or gimmicks coming out of Regina. Marcel talking to his...
Yeah, and in this situation, probably a good idea to call a timeout, get that field goal return team prepared for any fakes, and say, listen, 3 points not a big deal right now. You've done a nice job of stopping the drive. Let's not let him get us on a fake.
And the other thing we got to remember too is that if he does return it out, in CIAU rules, he only has to get it out to the 1 yard line, and they'll scrimmage the ball on the 20.
Coming up after the Vanier Cup, back to Fredericton for more TSN McCain Skins Curling. At 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific. Vic Router, Ray Turnbull, Linda Moore.
Hurry hard. Hurry hard.
Heading into lots of curling here on TSN. First, we got a Vanier Cup. Seeing if Regina can get a little closer. A 25-yard field goal is good for John Ryan. So they drive down and get points. Not a touchdown, but they do answer back. It is 21-10 Ottawa U with the Vanier Cup. Well, back at Skydome, either the Rams or the GGs will get an early Christmas gift. Let's head down to Ray Morrison. Ray.
Thanks, Rod. George Grant is the chairman of the Vanier Cup for the year 2000, and the pin would tell us that he's also the owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Let's talk about the Vanier Cup and the success this has been. You've had a good crowd attend the 2000 event here.
Oh, it's been terrific, Ray. We are looking at a crowd that's at least 6,000 or 8,000 higher than last year. And let's face it, with the Rams playing Ottawa, that is not the contest that would have delivered us the largest crowd. So frankly, if it had been McMaster and a crowd were this size, we'd be thrilled. So it's been a terrific week and a great culmination to the year.
Tell me a little bit about Ottawa and Regina coming in here, however, because that widens the knowledge of the Vanier Cup game.
Absolutely, and of course, it's more of a cross-country look to it. The Regina Ram team, of course, an incredible success story. Junior team turned university team. 4-4 come back and all the way to the big show. Ottawa beating McMaster, who were the favorite. It's one of those kind of Gipper years, Cinderella story things.
And some people to say hi to?
Yeah, I'd just like to say hi to my son, Will Grant, who plays for Acadia Axemen. He's down at Wolfville, Nova Scotia. I'm sure he and his buddies that are watching the game today down there would like to be here, but hang in there, Will.
All right, good stuff. Congratulations on this event. Good luck with the Ticats. Rod?
Thank you, Ray. That's the matchup George wanted. Acadia and McMaster.
Right. Got it.
He was hiding it well, though, wasn't he?
On second down, Phil Cote was running around and taking down a few yards gain. Sets it up. Throwing back. Darrell Ray with it. Darrell Ray still on his feet. And nearly gone. Finally taken down inside the Regina 40. However, a flag is down back in the Ottawa U backfield.
I think it's going to be a late hit on Phil Cote. I believe this will be against University of Regina.
And if that's the case, you can add on 15 more to already a 34-yard gain for the GGs.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Regina when the official goes down there and picks up the flag and everybody stays where they are. You know, it's
unnecessary roughness. Roughing the passer, number 23. First down.
That's Brian Scott called for Regina.
Well, it was a design play to go backside to the screen, roll this way, and throw it back to the screen on the opposite side. And Scott took about 2 extra steps, hit Cote. That was the penalty, and then the good run afterwards.
And it's interesting. We've seen Ottawa today run about 4 screens so far, mostly inside. This is the first time we've seen Cote roll out. You can see the late hit.
Good call by the official. Definitely late.
Phil Cote is 8 for 8 in passing in this Vanier Cup for 119 yards. And they're in deep looking for more here. It's Michael Shaver who scored the previous touchdown for the GGs on the carry, and a good gain up to the 15.
You know, there's some decent size when you look up front for the University of Regina. I mean, when you talk about Terry Seidlitz at 370 pounds inside of the tackle position, 300 for Kevin Barron, and there's some big size in there. And they're moving them out right now.
Yeah, and we did the Atlantic Bowl 2 weeks ago. We had Charlie Toth from St. Mary's who weighed 360 against him, and he weighs 370. I mean, it was just incredible to see the size of those two guys.
A meeting of the masses. But St. Mary's could run that ball just the way Ottawa U can here with Shaver. Quickly there, another touchdown Ottawa U. Ali Ajram with it. And the GGs are really starting to open things up here in the second quarter.
The blocking up front by Ottawa is just absolutely incredible here, because Regina just cannot get off of those blocks. Look how quickly they hit in there. Sustain the blocks, and then it's just straight up the field into the end zone to make it look easy.
Thought it was Chris Mercer, the tackle, that came down hard and really opened up a hole.
And Regina's ability to come back, well documented, is certainly being tested here on this Vanier Cup Saturday in Toronto. With the convert here, Jeff Lee, it's an 18-point lead. The GG's got here with defense. It's the offense getting it done today. A big lead in the first half of the Vanier Cup. Ali Ajram, third-year social science student from Newmarket, Ontario, with a touchdown for the Ottawa GGs. The scoring drive brought to you by Panasonic Palm Lake. 4 plays, 75 yards, 4 straight possessions for the GGs, and 4 touchdowns.
We'll take one more look at the touchdown. A good block right up here, the point of attack right there on Paskew, the linebacker, by big left tackle Chris Mercer. And Ajram goes in there untouched, basically.
Yeah, Ottawa are very, very impressive on offense right now. And, you know, they're mixing it up, too. They're throwing the ball. Cote's 8 of 8 right now, mixing up with screen. Running the ball effectively. We said they were balanced. You know, they averaged coming into this game 232 yards rushing per game and 237 yards passing. And you can't get much more balanced than that.
And even though Regina answered back with a field goal, they have fallen further behind here as Leeson and the offense will get ready to come out again. And on that kick return, they do get it out across their 30-yard line. Corey Olenek on the return for Regina.
You know, and the bigger of a lead it becomes, the tougher it becomes for Darrell Leeson, trying to push the ball vertically down the field. I mean, right now, he's in a situation in that Ottawa defense that he has to be patient. We talked about that. But as this lead grows, he's got to take some chances.
Right. I mean, there's no question. Regina's defense has to force Ottawa to punt the ball a few times for this offense to get back into the game.
Jeff Yorga remains in at left tackle for Regina with Gary Block ill and not able to finish. Passing and first down, Regina. For Claremont, 3 GGs around, and the ball squirts loose, incomplete.
I'll show you some great range by Lucas Shaver. First team CIAU All-Canadian, and he got over there in a hurry to help out.
And Jason Claremont still has not gotten up off the turf. He's looking out in the flat here initially, Leeson, then it's covered, then he tries to go to Leeson doing the seam. But look how well they converge on it. You mentioned Luke Shaver coming in and laying a big lick on Jason Claremont, and Claremont is still on the field. They can ill afford to lose him.
Lucas Shaver came from the middle of the field, and that hit on Claremont was made right on the sideline. That's a long way to go, and when Shaver got there, he got there with a bit of an attitude. And that's why the scouts in the Canadian Football League are just drooling over this guy, because Claremont's going to run the corner pattern. He's got a little bit of room right there, but look at how quickly Lucas Shaver closes number 1.
And Luke Shaver's a big guy for a safety, 6'1", 280. And we saw his arms in the weekend. I mean, this guy's got big pipes.
He will end up, provided he can stay relatively injury-free, on a CFL football team.
Yeah, no question.
It's a big day for the Shavers. Brother Michael with a touchdown early. He's had a great day offensively. And now the defensive Shaver with a big play for the GGs. And a second down and 10 out of the shotgun for Leeson and the Rams. Throwing on it, completing it. It's Chris Briltz, the fullback, with the catch, shy of a first down, up across the 40 for Regina. 3rd and short. Now 4 minutes left until halftime. You're down by 18. Any thoughts?
Oh, I think you have to go for it. Your defense has not shown that you can stop Ottawa's offense. I mean, you've got to go. But
yeah, I agree 100%, Jamie. I think there's no question that Frank McChrystal, you know, should go for it. And the other thing he could do is maybe give him a lift. And he's going to take a timeout and just think about it, make sure he makes the right decision.
That's a smart move, yeah.
But you know, I agree with you. I mean, it's a long yard, and this is a big gamble. But if you can get this first down, you give yourself a little bit of an injection of life, and maybe it can carry over to your football team. I think if you punt the football here, and with the way your defense has been struggling, you know, you could be looking at a bigger lead.
You don't want being down 35-10.
Jason Claremont continues to be worked on, and the Rams bench out of the game for now. And another look at the hit he took.
It's a shoulder problem right there.
Lucas Shaver, number 1, not only puts a good hit on him when he gets there, but he drives him down into the ground.
And that's exactly what his shoulder problem is. You can see that. And you got to be concerned if you're Frank McChrystal, because Regina losing Jason Claremont. Jeff Zimmer's still on the sidelines with his foot raised, shoes off, so he's not in the football games. You've got 2 of your best players are on the bench.
Well, yeah, you talk about them being the best players. I mean, Claremont, Hughes, and Olenek account for about 80% of their offense. And there's one of the 3 out. Shoulder pads off, so devastating for the Rams.
It'd be devastating here if the Rams can't get this first down. They're at their 40. They're down by 18. It's a 3rd and 1. Handing off. And a first down easily for Regina.
You know, and the other thing that does, guys, is it gives that offensive line a chance to fire off the ball once, because you know Darrell Leeson's going to be in pass. Right. He's got to be to come back. And that means the D-line's going to pin the ears back. This gives him a chance to fire.
And, you know, I think why Frank McChrystal might have taken the timeout as well is we talked about Zimmer being out, Claremont. Usually when they're in that power eye formation, Zimmer's the lead back in that power eye, and Claremont's the tailback. So I'm sure he probably wanted to make sure that the people that were in there, you know exactly what you're doing, what your responsibilities are.
Corey Olenek taking it. Olenek getting the first down. Regina ball to 45. Leeson. Quick drop back. It's knocked down at the line of scrimmage, falling incomplete.
Well, Leeson is 6'4". I mean, you have to climb a ladder to knock one of his passes down.
He was looking for his brother, Mike Leeson, who plays the inside receiver spot.
It was Kevin Gagnon getting the arm up and knocking it down.
I thought it was interesting reading about Darrell Leeson when he was in high school. 6 foot, 190 pounds in high school, and he thought that they were going to make him an offensive lineman. And he was really worried about it. He said everything he did as a kid was throwing the football, and they finally put him in there at quarterback, and he hasn't looked back ever since. That's a big high school football player.
Yeah, it would be.
Sure is. 12 for 18 so far here. Taking off, though. Oh, Leeson, he can run that ball, and he's got another Regina first down. A tough guy across the midfield stripe and down to the Ottawa U50.
And you're not only physically tough, but he's mentally tough. I mean, he's just not letting the fact that his team's down by 18 points. We said his demeanor remains the same throughout the game. We've seen him behind, we see him ahead. He's exactly the same. He's a very cool customer. He instills a great deal of confidence in this Regina Rams offense.
He's got his work cut out for him in this one, down by 18.
But it is a first down. Another one for Regina, still in the move. Dropping back, pump take. Airs it out. Ostapowicz. Oh, nearly had it. Falls incomplete.
Franz Jacques, the corner, never lost his composure. He was running down the field. Ostapowicz had him beat early. He never lost his composure. He gathered himself and made a play on the football.
I want to ask you here, Glenn, when you're a defensive back and you're making this play, it looks like Franz comes in with his left hand here. Shouldn't you have come in with your right hand so that you have your other hand free to try to make the play? Watch his left hand. Oh, he actually does come in with his right hand.
Well, you know, and you know what he did, too, is he kind of grabbed onto the jersey a little bit with that backhand and maybe got away with a bit of an interference call there, but he did get his hand on the football, and that's why it wasn't called.
Right.
He didn't lose his composure when he was beat initially.
So Leeson goes back again under pressure. They've got him. Darrell Leeson is finally taken down. A big loss, and this time the Rams have no choice but to punt.
And this Ottawa GG's team has sacked the quarterback in the regular season 30 times. This is the first sack of the game for the GG defense.
You know, and it always goes together. You know, you get good play out of your secondary from Franz Jacques. Brad German's having a great game. The 2 corners, if you get good coverage out of your secondary, it's going to result in sacks. They always work together.
It was Kevin Gagnon who knocked down the Leeson pass earlier in that drive with the sack for Ottawa U. And a punting situation for Ryan, who now stands back at his 39. 2:22 on the clock until halftime. Regina's going to have to head to the locker room and regroup. Down by 18. Nice punt by Ryan. Sending Gordon back inside his 10. GGs were setting up the return. Gordon can't get outside and ultimately is taken down Nick Billings there after a 47-yard punt. Down to the Regina bench, and Ray Morrison, Ray.
A couple of injuries to bring you up to date on. Yeah, Jason Claremont has re-aggravated a shoulder, which separated on him 3 seasons ago. It looks like he's going to go back in and try give it a go. Jeff Zimmer, the linebacker for the Regina Rams, a sprained ankle. They have put it on ice. They're going to see how it reacts, and they haven't made a decision on the second half yet. Rod?
So you're wondering why the Ottawa GGs are having success in the middle, running the football. You're looking at it. Jeff Zimmer is their best defensive player at linebacker. He's their run stopper, and he's their leader. He's not in the defense now, and they're paying for it.
Jeff Zimmer been in this program for 6 years for Regina Rams. Still has a couple of years of eligibility left, and it's interesting because some of these players for Regina could play their whole career here, given up to CIAU, play 10 years for the same franchise.
Zimmer has said, however, that this is it. This is his last game. He's moving on, and you hate to see it all end this way for him. Just under 2 minutes to go until halftime. Ottawa U ball. They're hemmed in deep this time. They've had great field position throughout this first half. See what Cote does here. Scrambling around and still on his feet. Phil Cote still going. Oh, across the 25. That'll get him in better shape in a hurry. A 23-yard gain up near the 30. Down to Sunil Joshi.
Well, Rod, the Ottawa offense is so confident that it can run the ball on the Regina Rams. They're actually starting to design plays for particular players. Earlier in the game, they said, the offensive coordinator said, let's work on number 19, Pascu this time, or let's go work on Zimmer. They're that confident that they can run the ball between the tackles. Rod?
I think the reason they want to work on Pascu is his size. I mean, he's not that tall. He's only 5'8", 195 pounds. And when you lose Zimmer, as Glenn was saying earlier, that takes a big chunk of your defense out of there.
Well, the GGs have been backed up against the end zone, but not anymore for the big run by Cote on the option. He keeps it, and he gets nothing. It'll be second and long for the GGs.
Yeah, and you mentioned Danny Pascu being small, and he is small, and that's why they were running at him. But that time, he used that quickness to advantage, got around the corner, and caught Cote from behind. So he's going to be more of a finesse player, and that's why Ottawa is trying to pound that ball right at him and try and have him take on the big lineman and take on those blocks rather than use his finesse.
Even though they're down by 18, I'm sure the Rams would just settle for that right now. 1:16 on the clock. It's Ottawa U with the ball. And maybe they can make some sort of statement. They can stop the GGs. They just have not been able to since the first drive of this game. 4 touchdowns, Ottawa U. And moving here. There's another GG first down. It looks like it anyway, up across the 40. And another completion for Phil Cote. That one to Patrice Ubrio.
Well, they're trying different things defensively now. They tried to put everybody up on the line of scrimmage, show blitz, and then drop out of there, but it didn't fool Phil Cote.
That's exactly right. They put 8 people up there. They only played 4 deep, and that's unusual for Regina. They don't usually like to play that way. They don't bring a lot of blitzes, but they've got to do something defensively. They know it.
First down, Ottawa U on the move. Under a minute to go till halftime. Looking to add to the total. That might help. Play for the GGs. Nathan Thompson, a 30-yard gain into Regina territory.
Danny Pascu got caught peeking to the outside. Number 19 right here. He's going to take a look to his right. When he peeks to the outside, Cote throws it back inside, just where he was supposed to be in his drop.
And you got to wonder, what's Nathan Thompson thinking with holding the ball like that? My gosh, I mean, holding it right out like there's nobody around him. He's lucky he didn't lose that ball.
Phil Cote has yet to throw an incomplete pass. He is 10 for 10 for 159 yards.
Wow. Well, I haven't been keeping track myself, but have they punted in this game yet?
Once. And it was nearly blocked in the first drive of the game. Gagnon tried it.
The first series of the game.
And he averages under 30 yards a punt, so it's a good thing they haven't been put in that situation.
They haven't had to since.
You're talking, you know, Phil Cote is having so much fun right now. You just cannot imagine what kind of fun he's having. I mean, everything's clicking, everything's just working so well for you. All your reads are right there. I mean, he's just having a ball.
You know, Jamie, I talked to him in the Churchill Bowl after the game, and he was so disappointed, obviously, that he couldn't play in that game up against McMaster. And they, you know, McMaster, the big, heavy favorites in the game, and that could have possibly been the way he finished his college career. And he thought, boy, I just love one more chance to play in that Vanier, and here he is, and he's playing a great game.
Sure is. You know, sometimes you don't miss the game until you're out of it for a couple of weeks, and you realize how much you do miss it when you get back there. You just want to make the best of your opportunities.
treat so far in this game. All GGs. A lot of it Cote. 10 for 10. Up and 11 for 11. Ubrio on the receiving end again, and he goes out of bounds shy of the first down.
All right, I'm going to start going through the CIAU record book and see if a quarterback has ever been perfect in a Vanier Cup. Jamie, you know one?
I don't know of one. I tell you what, but I've never seen a quarterback perfect in the first half ever.
You had some good days, 76 and 77. Not quite.
Yeah, but I had 4 drop that game.
Only 4.
Yeah, I was perfect. Those guys dropped them.
Right. That's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
He dropped that one that was 5 yards over his head, didn't he? No. You had some brilliant performances at this stage. And this guy's having one, too. Cote. Another first down, this time running it down inside the 20-yard line. 29 seconds on the clock till halftime, and it looks like the GGs are going to add to this lead.
Great quickness, just great foot speed to the outside from Phil Cote, and you know, as well as he's passed the ball, that may be his biggest strength, his running abilities. Yeah, no question. And you know, one of the great things about him, and backs that have that kind of quickness sometimes, is Phil Cote has the patience enough to let the blocker in front of him help set up the block. He doesn't outrun it. And Dufault made a nice block there for him. And Cote gets some great yardage.
First down, GGs. Cote stands back. Oh, nearly picked off that time. Good coverage by the Rams. Corey McKee in there in the coverage on Darrell Ray.
I think Glenn jinxed him the last time.
I jinxed him.
And the first incomplete pass after going for 11 for 11.
Well, Corey McKee had a little bit to do with it. He came across and played it pretty well. The oldest player in the secondary for the University of Regina at 24 years old at halfback comes across and gets his hands on it.
That was a nice job by Corey McKee. We saw him a couple weeks ago in the Atlantic Bowl make some big hits on some St. Mary's receivers. He's the captain of the DBs back there, and rightfully so. He brings a lot when he hits somebody.
A guy that benches 350. That's like a bus.
Yeah.
Trying again for the end zone. It falls short. And a flag is down, however, back in the GG's backfield.
Flag came late.
There was one before against Regina for a late hit on Cote.
No, go on. Unnecessary roughness, number 47, first down.
And it happens again. Misa Bosovic called on that one, the middle linebacker for Regina. Unnecessary roughness. This is just killing the Rams.
That's just got to kill you. I mean, you stop him now for the first time. Looks like you maybe can get out of here with just a field goal attempt.
There he is. He's going to come in a little bit of a delayed stun. Watch him just kind of sneak up in there. Says I might as well take off and go. Takes that extra step.
And you know, I think it's not only the step. I think it's where he hit him. He goes to his head. You know, he tries to go up high on him.
The ball is just inside the 10, so it'll be first and goal for the GGs with 18 seconds on the clock. Out of the shotgun, looking end zone is Cote. Taking off is Cote. And he is hit hard that time and ridden down. Danny Pascu making the tackle after a gain of only a couple of yards for the GGs.
Well, credit to the secondary for the Rams, because Cote got outside. He had time to throw and really nowhere to throw the football.
I'm a bit surprised here they're going for the field goal with 9 seconds left.
Stay right there.
You can certainly get a playoff here as Phil Cote takes a big lick from Danny Pascu. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to take their field goal team off the field and put the offense back on there. 9 seconds.
But this gives Marcel Belfait a chance to talk to Cote and just remind him, look, we only got 9 seconds left. We want to take one more shot at it, but it's got to be quick.
Right.
If it's not there on time, throw it into row 2.
Lunch takes too long. It doesn't. We have.
I got a sneaking suspicion here, sorry, that Phil Cote is going to run the quarterback draw.
We're going to have this. They play man, either like the corner or like D-backs on the other. Wait, hey, Phil,
you got to get off in 5 seconds.
I see him talking about if they play man, he likes the corners.
I guess he's not going to run the quarterback draw, but you never know with him. I mean, he's that kind of innovative guy back there that if it's, but they've kind of instructed him that if it's not there, get rid of it.
If they can cash in here.
Well, you're right, though, Jamie. He's got like 9 seconds. There's plenty of time to run a play. Still have a chance to get your field goal team on the field if, in fact, it's incomplete.
The field goal alone would put Regina down by 3 touchdowns, but if they can cash it in. It is hard to imagine a Rams comeback this time, but they've had that spirit all year long. They've been so good, even in bad situations. They're in one now. Cote, end zone, touchdown, GG's. Mike DiBattista, who had a touchdown in the Churchill Bowl in their win over Mac, gets it done. A sizable lead for Ottawa U heading to the locker room.
The play successful because of the formation that the Ottawa GGs went with. They went with a bunch formation to the right. Look at this formation right here. All the receivers bunched up. That forces the Regina Rams to play zone defense on the goal line, and when they do that, DiBattista finds the hole right there. With receivers in a bunch like that, it's hard to play man because it's easy to be picked. You got to drop off and play zone, and Cote made him pay.
And the tough thing on that too is that it's tough to play zone when you're in your own end zone.
That's right.
Because you know it creates such a problem for you.
There's always going to be a hole somewhere.
Right.
Another convert by Jeff Leah. More smiles on that Ottawa U bench. 3 seconds on the clock until halftime, and a 35-10 lead.
Mike DiBattista, the leading receiver, number 4 on the inside. Leading receiver for Ottawa, had 10 touchdown catches on the year. He's the middle receiver, then he just turns it out, finds that hole in the zone, and Phil Cote looks to him and drills it right on the numbers. He's got quite a stat, actually. He averages a touchdown every 2 catches, so wow, pretty good season.
You know, I give some credit to the game plan and the game planning for this football game. You get down in the goal line like that, and you can put that bunch formation in there, forces zone coverage. You can cap off a 10-play drive.
Right.
10 plays, 105 yards. And remember where it all began, of course. Obviously, do the math. Back on the 5-yard line, and Cote got that started with that big run.
But I think the big story in that drive was the incompleted pass.
That's
it was
right.
the first one that he's thrown all game.
Yeah, to which Darrell Ray should have gone back to him and said, you got to lead me more, Phil. You got to lead me.
Well, Frank McChrystal's he's going to talk to his defense, you know, but when you consider Jeff Zimmer has not played halfway through this quarter, and he's been limping, and he was limping in the first quarter, that is a big hole in that defense.
This would be a good time for a Neil Hughes return, but they don't put it anywhere near him. Corey Olenek with it for the Rams. And they have him taken down at about the 25, no more. The final play of the first half at Vanier Cup 36. It belongs to the Ottawa UGG so far, who rack up 35 points. A dominant offense. And Regina is in a big hole to start the second half.
I don't think I've ever seen an offense be this proficient in a Vanier Cup in all the years that I've been covering it. And Phil Cote's just been magic out there.
Yeah, Regina Rams got to reach down now defensively and find a way to slow down the momentum when they come back in the second half. And Darrell Eason's going to have to take some chances on offense.
Sunil Joshi is standing by now with Marcel Belfay. Sunil.
Well, Rod, let's talk to the head coach. This is an awesome first half for your guys.
Well, the kids are playing well, and they're playing hard right now. That's all I can ask of them.
When you look at what's going to happen in the second half, you know the other guy's going to play the full 60. What are you going to tell them?
Well, we're going to play the full 60 as well and see where the chips fall. You know, we just got to keep playing well offensively and special teams and defense, all three together.
Have you ever seen Phil Cote play any better?
Well, you know, Phil's had some great games in his career, and right now he had a good first half, but we have to do that again in the second half.
Okay. Thank you, Marcel. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Boy, Belfay's boys look awfully good as they head to the locker room now. Shaver, Cote. What a half for the Chi-Chis, and a 25-point lead over the Regina Rams.
This sports break is brought to you by Kia. It's about time everyone had a well-made car.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom. Hope you're enjoying the game. The second half is coming up, but despite missing the last 3 games with jumper's knee, today is a very special day for Toronto Raptors star Vince Carter. The University of North Carolina retired his number 15 today. Tar Heels legendary coach Dean Smith presented Carter with his teal blue number 15. Carter spent 3 years as a Tar Heel before leaving after his junior season. In his last year, Carter was first-team All-ACC and second-team All-American, averaging just over 15 points per game and 5 rebounds per game. Elsewhere in the NBA, Atlanta beat Milwaukee 101-94. Jason Terry with 30 points in the win. And at the TSN Skins game, Wayne Middaugh is into the final after beating Nova Scotia's Alan O'Leary in the semis. Let's get you back to Skydome.
In the final game of Phil Cote's university career, he's having a career day here at the Vanier Cup, scoring a couple of touchdowns, and not until the final drive did he throw an incompletion. It's all Cote's GGs right now. 35-10 over the Regina Rams, who certainly have a lot of work to do for the second half. Well, a couple of nights ago, they had an awards dinner for all the All-Canadians and also the Rookie of the Year, the top defensive player, the top lineman, and the outstanding player as well. The big hardware is given out today with the Vanier Cup. They would all love to be sharing in on that one, but they did recognize some great individual performances, and here now is what happened on Thursday night here in Toronto. The winner of the Peter Gorman Trophy for the outstanding rookie was Jean-Frédéric Tremblay of Laval. Tremblay boosted the Rouge et Or offense by catching 24 passes for a total of 500 yards.
Only to be here was an honor for me. I mean, to be with all the coaches, the GGs, the Regina players, the All-Canadian. I came here with no idea what is going to happen, and no matter what the final result was, I will be happy.
The J.P. Metras Trophy for Outstanding Lineman was awarded to McGill's Randy Chevrier. This former Rookie of the Year recipient recorded 48 tackles and 5 sacks for the Redmen.
Before I played football, I wasn't really focused on anything, and I didn't have any goals, and I didn't know how to set goals. And just the experience of, such a large organization, and, every individual counting in that organization really helped me develop, sense of direction, sense of focus, sense of objectives, and I mean, it helped my schoolwork. It helped every single thing that I've done, and I mean, I owe that all to the coaches, the players, and to the sport itself.
The winner of the President's Trophy for the Outstanding Defensive Player was Joey Mikowas of Manitoba, a linebacker who was the heart of the Bison's defense and finished second in Canada West in tackles with 65.
It was pretty good. It's pretty exciting. There's a lot of good football players in this country, and to win this award is a definite honor. When you're up there, it kind of feels nice, I must admit, but when you come up and you just see all the Ottawa players, all the Regina players, and you realize how close you were, it bugs you right away.
And the recipient of the Heck Crichton Trophy for the nation's outstanding player was Kojo Adu of McMaster. Adu led the CIAU with 1,329 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns.
Without my teammates, I could not have achieved this goal of mine. This was a definite goal of mine. Like, when I first came to university football, I told myself, I'm going to do the best to be the best football player in Canada, and just whatever it takes. And I knew that I could not do that without my teammates.
And among those Kojo Adu beat out for the Heck Crichton was Phil Cote, who prefers where he is today. 2 other awards were handed out the next day at a CIAU luncheon. Coach of the Year going to Greg Marshall and the great job he did with McMaster, and also the TSN Russ Jackson Award going for the 2nd straight year to Alberta Golden Bear offensive lineman Carlo Pinero, who is standing by now down on the field with Ray Morrison.
Yeah, Rod. Reminds me, the award is given out to the player that best reaches academic goals, as well as that in athletics and community involvement. And first of all, your reaction to winning this again.
Oh, I'm very surprised. There's so many deserving candidates around the country. To be recognized 2 years in a row is a special feeling.
You have been drafted by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You are pursuing a career in orthopedic surgery. What are your plans now that your eligibility is up?
Well, we'll see in regards to football. Have to make some decisions come the end of the year. But, I really want to do medicine, and we'll just have to weigh out all my options, see if I can work things out.
And you got some buddies watching.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to all the guys back home watching at Molson House. We'll be back soon, and we're having a great time.
Good stuff. There you go. Rod?
All right, thank you, Ray. Well, Phil Cote was a major award winner last year, looking for the biggest of all, the Vanier Cup, throwing a touchdown there and a big GG lead after 1 half at Skydome. This was another big part of the awards night a couple of nights ago for the CIAU. Not only the major award winners, but they also announced the 1st and 2nd team All-Canadians. That's a look at the first teamers, Jamie.
And if you're Greg Marshall of McMaster, you have to be happier than a clam, because he's got both Kojo Adu back and Ben Chapdelaine next year. Offensive line led by Steve Jobank, Concordia Stingers, James Hitchett from Laurier Golden Hawks, and Carlo Panero from the Alberta Golden Bears, who also won the TSN Award.
Well, defensively, a great crop of linebackers this year in the CIAU. Joey Mikawaz from the Bisons was the outstanding defensive player, and a lot of people thought Jeff Zimmer should have been on that team for the Rams. He wasn't. He didn't even make the second team. It was that good of a crop of linebackers this year. Randy Chevrier from the Redmen also on that team. And in the secondary, the free safety, Lucas Shaver, the only player on the first-team All-Canadian team that's in this game this afternoon. That combines both teams. Lucas Shaver, of course, with that big hit in the first half on Jason Claremont.
Now, Lucas Shaver's a happy guy right now. Still has a half to play. Brother Michael has a touchdown. Now, the Rams have one there as well. They're on the board, but they're down by 25. The National Football League has teamed up with the CIAU and Budweiser to bring you the Bud NFL National Campus Touch Football League 2000. In its first exciting season, this grassroots touch football league was a huge success, featuring over 100 teams from 6 universities across Canada, competing for bragging rights and $16,000 in scholarships for their university. Students over 19 years of age representing UBC, the University of Alberta, McMaster, Carleton, Western, and the University of New Brunswick participated in an action-packed, authentic football league. Each team was equipped with authentic NFL balls and jerseys, courtesy the NFL and Budweiser. And all the league stats, schedules, and standings, including Player of the Week honors, could be found online at www.beer.com. The championship teams from each campus took to battle, and the 4 remaining squads won an all-expenses-paid trip to Toronto to challenge for the inaugural title and $16,000 in scholarships that's awarded to the winner's university. And the championship trophy went to the University of Western Ontario. The Western Dogs take it here at Sky Dome. And they get the hardware as well. Ottawa U is trying to get the Vanier Cup. And Phil Cote is a big reason why they have a great chance to get it, Jamie.
I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback play as efficiently as Phil Cote has in the first half. I mean, he's done everything, passing, running. Here we see him taking it in for the touchdown early on in the football game. Again, he comes out here. It looks like he's going to pass, but no, he's going to take off with it once again. And just look at his feet. This guy is absolutely incredible. He's moving his head on a swivel, makes some big plays for them.
No question, he threw for over 300 yards of offense in the first half. When Cote played throughout the regular season in 9 games, he averaged 38 points. He led this football team to. Well, he already has 35 on the board. So unless the Regina Rams start to gamble on defense a little bit, this could get real ugly in a hurry. And that's what I was talking about, over 300 yards of offense in a half of football.
And
really
it's
incredible.
not that Regina hasn't moved the ball.
Absolutely. I was going to say that Regina's showing some pretty good offense. The problem is their offense is not on the field enough. Their defense has been on the field way too much.
You know what Frank McChrystal has to do with his Rams team? Let's hear from him now. He's standing by with Ray Morrison.
Frank McChrystal, tell me a little bit about that first half. The pressure on your offense to score points is pretty big in this game, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And actually, our offense is doing some pretty good things. You know, they're putting up some numbers, but they haven't had the ball. The other thing, our defense isn't stopping them. And when that happens, we can't get the ball in the hands of our athletes, and that's why the score is like it is.
Are they doing anything to exploit your defense, or are you just struggling all the way around?
No, right now they're just better than we are. And, you know, sometimes that happens. We're going to come out in the second half and see if we can play better than we did in the first half. And if we can do that, maybe we still got a shot.
Thanks, Frank.
Well, his team has come back before, but this is their MVP from the 2000 season, Jason Claremont, a shoulder injury and trying to give it a go in the second half.
And that's just not a good sign if you're a Regina fan at all. Jason Claremont, your leading receiver in Canada West, is out with an injury.
And also banged up on defense. Jeff Zimmer, the leader of that defense and linebacking core, was also banged up in the first half, so we'll check him out early in the second half to see if he's okay.
Now, you'd mentioned, Glenn, it's so incumbent on the defense, though. Sure, the offense has to keep going and score points, but first they do have to stop Ottawa U.
Well, I think right now Regina has to gamble. I mean, they have to put the linebackers up in the line of scrimmage, send them, try to cancel the gaps and take some chances. They have nothing to lose in the second half, down 35-10 at this point.
Well, we've seen them open it up before, and albeit they haven't been down by this much before, but the second half is underway here, and it is Nick Billings taking it on the return for the Regina Rams. Darrell Leeson in a precarious situation now, trying to run the offense and talking things over now. as he heads out onto the field down by 25 points.
Well, he's also in a situation now where he has to gamble, and Jamie, you know as the quarterback, yeah, it's good to be patient, but you're down at this point now in the game. Time to go up over top and hope that your athlete comes down with the
ball. No question. You got to make some plays here, and you got to make big plays. You got to get your offense back into this game in a hurry.
On first down, Leeson, they're going for it big time, and they have it. No, they don't. It is incomplete and dropped there. Brother Michael Leeson, the intended receiver for Regina.
Well, that's what we were talking about, though. Take some chances, go down the field. You got a one-on-one down the field. Michael Leeson running on Franz Jacques. Now, the corners for Ottawa played well all game long, but why not take a chance? And he had a crack at the football, just couldn't come down with it.
And, that's twice that Regina have had good cracks at the ball right here. I mean, it's very good defense, got his hand on him. Referee doesn't make it, but, you got to come down with those kind of plays in this big of a game.
Going for it on that first down. It'll be second down. Darrell Leeson working out of the shotgun. Under pressure, shovels it ahead to Neil Hughes. Has a good gain, but not enough for a first down. And you talk about gambling offensively as well early in the second half. Another one of those third and short situations.
And I'm sure, given the fact of where they are, that they are going to go for it at midfield. Looks like they're getting in their big people out there to run. But what I'm impressed about Ottawa on defense, Glenn, is that play there looked like it had a lot of room to run. But boy, they attack up so hard once the ball is caught. I mean, they ran that little shovel pass to Leeson.
Yeah, something I noticed in the Churchill Bowl as well is that the linebacking core with Teddy Neptune, Mark Pritzlaff, and Michael Dupuis, or Michel Dupuis, I should say, very quick to the football. I mean, these guys, when they take their drops, the ball is a running play. They are on that football in a hurry, and they gang tackle.
Yeah, very athletic defense. And the other thing you have to keep in mind with this Ottawa team is their age. This is an old defense in terms of age. They average about 23 years of age in this Ottawa defense, and that is old by CIAU standards.
11 games this year, 7 points a game they gave up. That is just unbelievable.
I think they had 2 shutouts in one other game where they only allowed 1 point.
Third down and a foot. Leeson keeps it himself and looks like he will easily get across the 50 and have the first down for the Rams. So they've had a couple of third down gambles in this game, although very short and hardly a gamble given the score right now, down by 25.
Jason Claremont back in the game. Saw him getting his shoulder attended to. He's got a special pad underneath there, and you got to give him credit for having the courage to go back in that football game. He's been pounded pretty hard.
No kidding. And, a separated shoulder, the tough thing is to get your hands up over your head to make the catch.
Fumbles the ball. Leeson had to pick it up, so they lose it down in a few yards. Back just inside their 50.
I'm almost a bit surprised here that Regina has not kind of said, hey, let's just sit in the gun, get our receivers out, empty out the backfield, and start throwing the football.
And the other thing, and I'm sure you did this when you were playing as well, but the hurry-up offense is something that can always get you some rhythm offensively. And what it does is it puts a defense into a very vanilla type of coverage. They can't really call any stunts and any blitzes on the line, so they play pretty vanilla. Right. Darrell Leeson could eat that up, and I'm a little surprised as well. Hurry-up could help him here as well.
Instead, they just break the huddle after a loss of a couple of yards in the fumble. Leeson setting up the screen to Neil Hughes. Good coverage on Hughes, but he slides by a few tacklers still. Maybe a loss of another yard on the play. He really set back to take that pass in the screen, and it's third down and long, and the Rams to be punting.
And I think right now Ottawa would be content to allow Regina to run screens all day. I think for Regina to get back in this game, they got to start throwing the ball vertically, get it down the field and make some big plays. I mean, Neil Hughes makes a great run here, but not enough for the first down. It's going to force him into punting situation, third and long.
Well, he beat 3 or 4 of them, but yeah, it's tough to beat all 12.
John Ryan standing back inside his 35 to punt it away. Good pressure up the middle by Ubrio. Another nice punt by Ryan. Taken by Scott Gordon at his 25. Finds room up the middle and is taken down at the 41. John Cormier on the tackle there for Regina after a 38-yard punt and a 15-yard return. Gigi's ball with a 25-point lead. We'll be back. At yesterday's award luncheon, the CFL NFL High School Coach of the Year was acknowledged. It's Mitch Chiavallo. You may recognize the name and even the face there, the son of the boxing legend George Chiavallo, a head coach at Western Tech. He had to be nominated by one of his former players who's in the CIAU. That happened to be Damian Bailey. He's with the Acadia Axemen, who wrote a very touching letter in behalf of his former coach.
And Mitch Chiavallo was also a pretty good running back at the University of Guelph in the early 80s. Nice to see him being recognized.
First down, Gigi ball. Ashram getting a touchdown of this game. And he has a good gain right there on first, getting upwards of the Gigi 50-yard line. It'll be second and short.
Yeah, why have the Ottawa GGs been successful on offense in this football game? It's because of their success on first down. Every single series, Phil Cote is looking at 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, and JV, you know how wide open the playbook is when you get that.
It just opens everything up. You can do anything, and especially opens up play action pass for you.
On 2nd and 2 for Cote. Handing off again. Michael Shaver, what a game he's had. Up to midfield to first down GGs. Their first possession of the second half, and more of the same that worked so well in the first.
You have to be very impressed by Ottawa's offensive line. Because one of the things that's really impressive about them is that when they hit and they block, they sustain the block. They do not allow the defender to come off of that block and slide off and make a tackle. They keep their feet moving all the time. They get into the Regina defenders.
Misha Bosovic, the middle linebacker for the Rams. What a tough day that front seven has had for Regina. And the GG's ruling the line of scrimmage. Handing off that time. Ubrio with it. Taking it over the sweep the right side. Another good gain in the ground. Looks like more first down yardage for Ottawa U.
Danny Pascu got steamrolled. And, you know, we talked about him being light. At 195 pounds, he did his best, and you got to give him credit for wanting to step up in there. But watch what he's going to do at the end of this play. He comes around the corner, and he just gets run over with the offensive line. Look at this. Pow, right in the hole, steamrolled right there. The hole is wide open, and at 190 pounds, he just can't hold his ground.
And it was a real nice job, too, by Ubriot to set that up. You know, he kind of got in his hip pocket and waited, and then he waited to the offensive lineman, got squared up on Pascu, and then ran right by him.
And another first down. Cote. They got a lot of pressure on him now. Oh, he nearly got away from it, but way back at midfield. And that's the best work defensively the Rams have done on Cote all game. And it's a Regina football.
Yeah, they got the ball, and I believe it was Luc Gilbert, his offensive lineman. Phil Cote's offensive lineman, who finally made the tackle.
Well, this is what Regina needed to get them, hopefully, if you're a Regina fan, back into this game. They come with the safety blitz where they bring number 19 coming up there and forces Cote to try to run with it, runs into his own guy.
Yeah, Luc Gilbert. He's the guy who's going to end up making a tackle. There's the ball out. There's Gilbert knocking him down. He can't get to it.
No. And there is Curtis Lawrence, 58 for the Rams with a fumble recovery. So good break for Regina now, and they need it badly. Starting at midfield on the turnover. Leeson throwing longer now, and that's intended for Claremont, who has the injured shoulder. It falls incomplete. It'll be second down.
I tell you, Luke Shaver had him lined up, didn't he? He was just kind of hoping that ball was thrown accurately.
Well, I was going to say, you know, sometimes your reputation will precede you on the football field, and I think Jason Claremont knew where Luke Shaver was in the middle of that field. He's got a bad shoulder. I mean, here he is just getting ready to come downhill on this hit. And Jason Claremont with that bad shoulder really didn't want any part of that.
And, you know, that shoulder is really bothering him. You can see it. He's just not running with the same type of authority he was earlier.
Leeson going deep again. Ostapowicz. He has it. Big first down Regina inside the Ottawa U20. Shane Ostapowicz.
That was a great catch by Ostapowicz because the ball was a little bit underthrown, but he came back for it, went up and tried to get it at his highest point. And they kept his eyes on it and concentrated on the way down. Very good coverage here, but you see the defender actually overruns the play. Ostapowicz goes up for it, locates it, The ball bounces away, but secures it to his body, and they've got something going here on offense.
And that defender was Franz Jacques, and he is the injured Gigi down at the 20-yard line, still down. A 37-yard pickup for Shane Ostapowicz, as Jacques is tended to, the corner for the GGs. So a little break in the action here with the Rams pressing. We'll take a break as well. This is the Vanier Cup on TSN.
I think the atmosphere is terrific in that we're a younger institution, so I think we provide the amenities that all first-year students, right up to fourth-year students, would enjoy within the campus life.
The Petroleum Technology Research Center, Saskatchewan Indian Federated College, and the Rams football team. Dynamic University of Regina partnerships.
It's been a big day for the Ottawa UGGs so far. Let's head down to the sideline now and join Sunil Joshi.
And I've got someone who knows all about the running game. Neil Lumsden, this is your kind of game, isn't it?
Well, it's a great game right now. It's with the traction being consistent, the turf solid. It's a great day to run the football, and everyone's having some success. It's nice to hit inside those tackles.
Regina's got the high-powered offense, but it's Ottawa that's showing it all today.
Well, I think what's happening is Ottawa's, when they get in the ball, their drives, they're putting time together, they're taking off the clock. They've almost been perfect.
Go back 25 years, ladies and gentlemen. This guy won it in 1979 for Ottawa. Thanks, Neil. Let's go back upstairs.
Thanks, Sunil. What a player he was with the GGs. He beat the Calgary Dinos that year. Completed pass. Neil Hughes on the receiving end inside the 5. A first and goal for Regina.
Beat Calgary in that year 14-9. Lumsden had 169 yards rushing. And prior to the game, he wanted to tell me all about it.
Every excruciating play.
Well, you know, 25 years goes by. I mean, we've had to listen to you relive the glory that you had as well.
So there I was. No, I won't get it. I won't get into it.
They had a very good team in Ottawa that year. Jim Colton was a quarterback. Billy Harrison also a tailback. Went on to have a few years in the CFL. And Jeff Avery went from that year to winning a Vanier Cup, and then the next year won a Grey Cup with Ottawa in 76.
Back in 76. Speaking of 76, one thing Lumsden said to me was, you know, a lot of our guys left after 4 years that they hung around. Who won the Cup the next year? What was it, Western? Jamie Bone, Western Mustangs. Yeah, if our guys would have come back for year 5, might have been a different story.
Well,
right?
all I'm glad is that Miles Gorell graduated. I mean, he was on that team then.
Frank McChrystal is glad that Darrell Leeson's got something going here. Get the turnover, their first of the game. They really need, obviously, to capitalize on it to stay in this football game, down 25.
Hey, you know, you think about it, Glenn. They've been down 16 against Calgary with 6 minutes left to go in that game. So they score here, they're only going to be down, you know, what, 18 points. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But
that was in the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth.
But their defense has to step up and play and create turnovers like we saw in the last series.
That game versus Calgary you mentioned, Leeson threw for 238 yards in the fourth quarter. So that's what he's capable of.
Incredible.
The next week in the Hardy Cup, they were down by 4, so they needed the touchdown, and they had a little more than 2 minutes on the clock, and Jamie, you talked about this, they reeled off that tremendous drive with Neil Hughes receiving most of the passes from Leeson, and they marched back and they won that game. And the last play of the game beat Manitoba.
Well, it's interesting here now because Franz Jacques, the corner, is out, and it'll be interesting to see if they go after his replacement.
This could start a comeback. They need it. First and goal. Throwing in and incomplete.
You know,
Leeson had the ball low.
And they didn't, Jamie. That's the thing. Darrell Leeson rolled out to his right, which was to the defensive left, and that's where Brad German lines up on the corner.
Exactly.
So they didn't go after the replacement for Franz Jacques.
And, you know, I think this was run all the way, but Teddy Neptune did such a good job of closing in on Leeson. I think he just threw the ball into the turf. Again, he's in the gun here, fakes it to Neil Hughes, and then comes up to the right. But the bottom of your screen, your number 39, Teddy Neptune just runs him down, and Leeson realizes he's not going to get around the edge. Throws it into the turf. Teddy Neptune, a transfer from the University of Kentucky.
Played with Tim Couch.
Yeah.
Second and goal inside the 5. Neil Hughes with the ball. Down to the 1. A big third down. The third down of the game. If you're a Regina Ram fan, they've got to punch it in here midway through the third quarter.
This is the play they faked the last time to Neil Hughes. This time they give it to him, and he has great vision, you know, and great power. Gets down real low and really keeps those legs pounding forward and almost gets into the end zone.
Now the ball will go back to the 1 yard line. And down there, that 1 yard seems like 1 mile when you're struggling.
And you always see Regina in this situation. They've shown every time they're in 3rd and short or even 2nd and short, they go into that power I formation. But again, we mentioned that Claremont is not in the I. I believe they put Neil Hughes back there, and Zimmer, of course, was the power I back or the blocking back, and he's out.
Down by 25. The Rams need this. Layson gets it. Touchdown, Rams.
Well, you got a big quarterback in Darrell Easton, 6'4", 230 pounds. You got Junior Gahn on the offensive line. He's 296. Plett's 280. And the other guard, Greg Hamilton, is 300. You just wedge it forward and let him fall into the end zone.
Good drive by Darrell Easton to move the football down, take advantage of the turnover created by the defense. The defense has been worked pretty well in this football game. You'll see it now with Darrell Easton taking advantage of it with the major. Will that give that defense a lift as well?
And for just the 2nd time today, John Ryan is out there for a convert. He also has a 25-yard field goal in this. This was cut the lead to 35, 18, 17 points, Ottawa U. Now the Regina defense must respond. Ottawa ball after this. Welcome back to Sky Dome. Rod Smith along with Jamie Bone and Glenn Suter over there. And in between, we have the CIAU Coach of the Year, the Frank Tyndall Award winner from McMaster, Greg Marshall. And Greg, congratulations on a great year. I'm sure you'd probably trade it in for a shot at the Vanier Cup. Tell me, when you see Ottawa U so far ahead, they beat you in the Churchill Bowl in a close one, to make you feel better or worse?
Well, I'm not sure. They're an outstanding football team. And, you know, I think our team is competitive with them. And certainly can be competitive here. But it's a great game so far, and Regina's got a great chance now.
But you have to feel good because you have Kojo Adu coming back next year, who is the Heck Crichton Trophy winner, and also Ben Chapdelaine.
Yeah, we have
All-Canadian quarterback.
Yeah, we have some outstanding core of players coming back next year, and we'll be strong, I think.
On the kickoff, GG football. Scott Gordon on the return again. He gets it up across the 30 to the 34-yard line.
Coach, what do you think about this game, though? Phil Cote's playing a tremendous game. They've got that Regina defense really off balance.
Well, that was unfortunate. We didn't play against Phil Cote, so that was good for us. You know, I mean, he's an outstanding player and really is controlling the ball. And what that's doing is keeping Regina's offense off the field, and you know that's important. And I mean, Regina's defense now has got to make some plays.
Now, if you were the defensive coordinator for Regina, what would you try and do against Ottawa in this kind of situation?
You know, sit back a little bit right now and not force anything, because, you know, if you do, Phil Cote will make some big plays on you.
First down now. Cote keeps it himself, and he is dragged down by Ian Bunnell, but after another good gain.
Coach, I got to ask you about the Coach of the Year award, and you must have been awfully proud to represent McMaster with that, and what you built in that program.
Yeah, it was very rewarding, and because we have had such a great team effort at McMaster, and you know, it starts from assistant coaches and the administration there and the players, and it's really been exciting, and it's rewarding when it's a big team effort like that.
A gain of about 7 yards for the GGs on that run by Cote. It's second and short again. They've been in that situation all day. Passing for it, and it's enough, and Jeremy White is still going. Another big play, GGs. Finally taken down, but he fumbles the ball, and the Rams have it. Jesse Sekiris picks up the fumble by Jeremy White after a big gain. Ottawa U. It's Rams ball.
Well, it goes to prove that no matter how bad things look, no matter how bad the play may look, keep hustling. Just keep working, and something good is going to happen. And Jesse Sekiris keeps working on the backside. He hustles all the way across the field and ends up coming up with a big turnover.
And, I got one comment there. He had the ball in the right hand, and he's running down the sidelines. Then he switches it here, and he puts it in the other arm. And watch when Bostovich comes over here and tries to make it. He switches the ball right now, and watch right here. He gets his hand in there and knocks the ball away. And that's what causes the fumble.
After a 47-yard gain, it would have been a good punt. Instead, they get all that that distance, and they give it up. So it's Rams ball and running on first down. It's Neil Hughes again.
Well, Coach, let me ask you this. 35-17, you got your turnover. Do you stick with the game plan at this point, or do you start trying to take some chances down the field?
No, most definitely. I mean, do what they do best, and that's, you know, have Leeson throwing the ball and mix it up a little bit. But there's lots of time left in this football game, and, you know, with that score and the ball where they have it now, they're in good shape.
They usually wait for the fourth quarter dramatics. We're still in the third, and they have plenty of time. If they could get another touchdown here, they would still be very much in this game. They have to keep it going, and they do on the ground on second and short. And it's Hughes again, and the sticks will move. A first down for Regina.
And you can certainly see now Regina's getting off the ball. They've got some spunk back in that offense right now, and Neil Hughes carrying the bulk of that, of the load here in the running game. Today, it hasn't really been offense has been their problem. They've moved the ball pretty successfully. It's been stopping them on defense, and they've done it now in 2 successive series with 2 turnovers.
Ball to 35 for Leeson. Rolling out, sets up the screen again to Hughes. A bread and butter play for Regina, and Hughes nearly breaks it. He gets up across for the first down. Another good gain for Regina up across the 45.
You know, it's a good game, but I think Marcel Belfay, the head coach for Ottawa, is going to be content with this type of play. I mean, he's not going to rush a whole lot of people and take any chances. He's not going to give Darrell Leeson the chance to just go up over top and in one play get back in this football game. He's going to make him put together a 10-play drive and take as much time off the clock as he can.
You know, I think he also would have trouble at halftime. When you have such a big lead and you've had such a commanding presence in the first half, it's hard to keep your kids and let them know, hey, listen, this game is not over. I mean, we're up big and we're having our way right now, but things can change, and this is the type of team here that's done it week in and week out, 5 weeks.
Don't start celebrating too early.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, Greg Marshall was an assistant with the Western Mustangs in '94 when they led in the fourth quarter by around 20 points over U of S. I was down there as a reporter. I remember that sideline then and how confident Western was. What are your memories of that? Because U of S came back in that game.
Oh, they certainly did. You know, one thing, and to give credit to our coaches and our players, we didn't panic. We've been in that situation before, like Regina. Throughout the playoffs, we'd already played in a playoff game that went into overtime, and so we didn't panic, and we kept our composure, and that's what Regina needs to do today.
And lucky you had Frank Jagus as your kicker.
That helps too.
Anthony Lane in the overtime at the punt return for the touchdown, but that was, to me, the most exciting Vanier.
Oh, it was a great Vanier, and that's what happens sometimes with momentum. You get confident and you play aggressively, and that's what Ottawa was playing in the first half. And now, you know what, all of a sudden, Regina gets a little momentum, they play a little tentative, and Regina starts moving the ball down the field.
As I recall in that game, I believe it was Brent Schneider in the fourth quarter throwing it to Maury Norst in the back out of the backfield, who had a lot of yards in the fourth quarter for Saskatchewan.
They had a lot of yards all game that day.
That Saskatchewan team was down. It came back. This team from Saskatchewan, the Regina Rams, are trying to do the same. It actually was a second and very short, so Leeson keeps it, and they do have the first down. They're down by 18, 4:33 to go on the clock until three-quarter time.
And an offensive lineman, Tony Plett, just went down for the Rams, and I believe he got poked in the eye. It looked like he went right up to his face after the play. Remember, Gary Block is already out of the lineup. He was sick coming into the game, left early, the starting left tackle. And there's Tony Plett. Well, now it looks like he's favoring that left arm.
Yeah, it looks like his shoulder.
So it makes it awful difficult for a quarterback. When you lose 2 starters in the offensive line, you're behind and you have to drop back in the shotgun and throw the football.
And especially when you lose your left tackle, who, as you said earlier, Glenn, you know, that's your backside if you're a right-handed quarterback. And then you got to contend now with getting a new center in there. You see Darrell Leeson over there taking some snaps from Fowler, number 62. He's going into center.
Ryan Fowler, 2 reserve O-linemen, and both of them are playing now in this 36th Vanier Cup.
One injury, you lose 30 pounds at center. Fowler at 250. Tony Plett at 280. And that doesn't look good. Him walking off the field with a sore shoulder.
first down now. And throwing ball out of the hands of the would-be receiver, Shane Ostapowicz. And Powell is the big part of that. He took it, couldn't hang on to the ball, and he paid some prices.
Well, his all-conference linebacker, Mark Pretzlaff, he just looks right outside right away and attacks the slant in, and he just takes everything he has and just kills him. I mean, you got to have a lot of courage in your receiver coming across the middle like that, and this is why. I mean, he just takes one for the team.
So it's second down and 10, Regina. Just about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Leeson throwing again. Jason Claremont on the receiving end. Well, the GGs are in. McMaster is not, but it was a good finish at the Churchill Bowl, Greg Marshall, and congratulations, Frank Tindall Award Coach of the Year, and taking the team further than they had ever gone before. A Yates Cup win to the national semifinal, and the next step awaits, I'm sure.
Yeah,
on the minds of a lot of people.
We're going to work hard on it. It starts this week, so it was a great season, a lot of fun.
Well, it was great for you to join us today. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
Greg Marshall, the Coach of the Year in CIAU football this year, and head coach of the McMaster Marauders that made it to the national semifinal game. Losing to Ottawa U, with the GGs winning large right now, an 18-point lead, but Regina can't count them out, although they are punting here from the 40. Another good punt by John Ryan, chasing Gordon back to his 10. Scott Gordon with a huge block on a Rams player who is injured again. Another Ram goes down after a 47-yard boot and a 15-yard return. GG football, about 3 minutes to go until three-quarter time. An 18-point lead, running the option. Ali Azram with it. A flag goes down around the 40, and he keeps going. It would be a first down, Ottawa U. Let's see what happens here. A big gain for the GGs, 26 yards.
They're over there talking to the Regina Rams.
That's holding.
When you're talking to the opposite team, it's going the other way.
It's hard to see who that holding was on. I thought it might have been on Darrell Ray, the receiver, when he got out on the corner.
Holding, Ottawa, first down repeated.
Well, it wasn't the pulling guard, Chris Mercer. He got out in front of the play. It was that simple option play out to the outside. Watch 66 Mercer get out and around. It's not on him. Really tough to tell in the mix. Offensive line looked pretty good.
So it'll be first and 20 for Ottawa U after the holding penalty. Down at the 15, Cote. Wide open. And that's White, Jeremy White on the receiving end, and picks up a lot of that yardage back, about 15 of it.
That's a good play by Ottawa. You know, don't get greedy here. Just kind of pick up enough to give yourselves options here again, and second down now and 6.
With that reception, White, 14 yards. He has 100 yards receiving from Cote today.
Watch his feet.
Gain of 14, second and 6. Out of the shotgun. He wants to run right from the get-go. He saw something, but he does not get the first down. Good work by the Rams D to hold them there, and Ottawa U will have to punt.
Well, Phil Cote wanted to empty the backfield to try and create some gaps for this play. Because, see, what he does, if he empties the backfield, doesn't have any backs in behind him. See, there's nobody back here. The reason for that is he's trying to find the gaps. But you got to give credit to that Ram defense. They rallied when Cote took off. You see, he's got the gap initially, stumbled a bit, and they're there to hold him short.
It was a good job by Regina's defense.
And Curtis Lawrence, who made the tackle. They relied on big plays in their great playoff run, and in the Atlantic Bowl, it was this man when they were down by 12, Neil Hughes, who took a kickoff return right after St. Mary's had scored a touchdown, and he took that kick in for a touchdown, and he got it to a 5-point lead. Kevin Gagnon punting for only the second time today, and once again, it is not a good one. With the roll, it does cross midfield. And it is about there that Leeson and the Regina Rams will go to work once again. They're trailing by 18 in the Vanier Cup.
St. Mary's University. Make us your choice.
The support we get here as varsity athletes is 100%.
Yeah, I'm having the time of my life right here.
There's a lot of great contact one-on-one with the teachers, and it's a great help.
All I can say is great school, great teachers, great coaching staff, great environment.
St. Mary's University. Make us your choice.
1:30 on the clock until three-quarter time. Regina ball at first down. Nice catch by Hughes. Turns around and gets some good yardage out of it on first. And it'll be a gain of about 9 yards.
You have to be very impressed by Neil Hughes' feet. I mean, he just cut on a dime right there and cut back and left Teddy Neptune.
He did it. He did it in the Atlantic Bowl a couple times, didn't he?
This was the one after a St. Mary's touchdown. Look at him bounce off the tacklers, Jamie.
And it was just incredible run, and, he just kept his head. And, the thing about him is that he had such great acceleration. And, all those great backs have that where they look like they're going full speed, but when they see that opening at the end, they get that little bit of burst. And Neil Hughes' touchdown turned things around for Regina.
Yeah, it was a 5-point game after that, and then St. Mary's for field position gave up a safety, and then they kicked it to Hughes. And Hughes returned it deep in St. Mary's territory, and they wound up with the winning touchdown.
Regina are starting to get off the ball in offense right now. Even though we've talked about some of the injuries, they're starting to assert themselves offensively.
Yeah, and you wonder about that celebration too early. You talked about, Jamie, is that defensively it's a very tough situation for them. You don't want to attack, but you can't be passive either.
Right.
There's still so much time left in the football game. You're sort of in between right now. I think the best you can do is go back to your game plan and try and execute it like you did in the first play of the game.
Hughes at that one for a first down. They move. There's Leeson moving. Looking for a block. Darrell Leeson on the ground and all the way to the 12-yard line. Ottawa U, and a flag goes down after the play.
I'm not sure if the official didn't think Darrell Leeson kicked him.
I think that's exactly what the call is going to be.
Michel Dupuis was the tackler. He was down on top of Leeson. I don't think Darrell Leeson tried to do it. I think he was just trying to shake his leg free.
Or he may have threatened to do it, but that's but that's different.
The intention.
Unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan, first down.
Well, let's take one more look at it. And I don't think that Darrell Leeson tried to do this. It didn't look like it to me. He's going to come out this side and scramble. Michel Dupuis is the guy who runs him down from the linebacking core, number 58. And right at the end of the play, he gets up and looked like he tried to shake his legs free. Right there. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I don't think it was. I think he was just trying to get his leg out of there.
I agree. But now Darrell Leeson will go down in the record books as probably the only quarterback ever to have a roughing play in the Vanier.
Doesn't happen very often.
No.
It's costly, though. It pushes him back after a wonderful game by Leeson. Neil Hughes, another good gain as they get it back. First down yardage inside the 20 with zeros on the clock. And this is the third quarter that sees these two teams trade touchdowns. Sees Regina get a little bit closer, actually, after falling behind by 25. Down by 18 now. They're not out of it yet. They'll have good field position to come back for the start of the fourth.
This sports break is brought to you by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom. The fourth quarter is coming right up, but it's a busy night in the NHL this evening, including a big Eastern Conference matchup between the Leafs and Rangers. Now, Toronto's Ty Domi will be looking for his third straight two-goal game.
Never really happened in my career, but it's just fun scoring too, and if I can contribute that way and help the team any way I can help us win, it's great for the team.
We play here tonight and at home against Colorado, and obviously, if you look at the standings, if we can get these two wins, that'll put us right at the top, and that's where we want to be when the season started.
Curling news for you at the TSN Skids game. Wayne Maddaw beat Nova Scotia's Alan O'Leary in the first semifinal. The second one coming up later tonight. Let's get you back to the Vanier Cup.
St. Mary's University. Make us your choice.
The support we get here as varsity athletes is 100%. Yeah, I'm having the time of my life right here.
There's a lot of great contact one-on-one with the teachers, and it's a great help.
All I can say is great school,
great teachers, great coaching staff, great environment.
St. Mary's University. Make us your choice.
Look at the numbers in the Vanier Cup after 3 quarters. They don't suggest an Ottawa U blowout.
Not at all. And you know what's really impressive here is that look at Regina's numbers here now. 353 yards. Ottawa this season only averaged allowing 183 yards total. So almost 200 yards more, and we're only in the 3rd quarter.
The Regina's been able to move the ball, and a correction. They didn't trade touchdowns in the 3rd, of course. The big thing for Regina's defense, they did not allow Ottawa U to score.
This would be a great situation here to run play-action pass out of that power eye.
They're inside the 20. Leeson's got them moving. And on that, they keep it. And another first down for the Regina Rams. Starting the 4th quarter, down by 18.
Well, we've been debating up here, and we're debating in the break. Do you kick the field goal if you get into 3rd down in this situation, or do you gamble no matter what it is? And
well, I think it depends on the situation that you're in. I think if you're 3rd and long, I think you have to take the points to get some momentum back for you, because you're going to have to kick a field goal probably eventually anyway. But you'd hate to be in these kind of situations where you're so close and you're inside the 15 and you only come out with 3.
In their first playoff game, they trailed Calgary by 14 midway through the 4th quarter. They needed a touchdown drive. Oh, what a catch! Touchdown Rams! Jason Claremont. He's hurting, but he's helping the Rams now.
Darrell Leeson did such a nice job of looking off the coverage. I want to show you his head. Just watch the way he is looking. He's looking to his right. You see him check over here. Look to the right, look to the right. The coverage slides that way. He goes right back over the middle.
Did a real nice job of influence a linebacker, Michel Dupuis. Just got him out of the way enough to put the ball over his head. And Jason Claremont, we saw him juggle the ball, and that was because he had a hard time getting his hands up because of the separated shoulder.
This Rams team has not failed to amaze in the last 4 weeks. The convert has made it an 11-point game. You'd be crazy to go away. Not the way this team likes to come back. Claremont, touchdown Regina. The Vanier Cup on TSN. Earlier we heard from the CIAU Coach of the Year. How about its best player? Down to Sunil Joshi. Sunil.
Indeed, the Heck Crichton winner, CIAU of the McMaster Marauders. I know you'd rather be out here playing. Tell me about the game. What do you think?
Bit of a slow start for Regina, but they're coming back now, so it's an interesting game now. They're making an interesting game.
You like to rush the ball, and so far that's exactly what Ottawa has done.
That number 36, Hughes, he can run. He's big-time runner. I like the way he runs. And they're rushing really, really well today. So you never know.
Right, so there you go. CIAU, the Heck Crichton winner. Let's go back upstairs, Rod.
Thank you, Sunil. It's Scott Gordon on the return. A 23-yard return for the determined Gordon. A good kick returner for Ottawa U. Instructions for Phil Cote as he heads on, and he must be feeling, guys, like he's got to get things going again for Ottawa U.
Yeah, you can see Andy McAvoy. He's the offensive coordinator, just talking to him prior to going on there. And I mean, what an afternoon. 14 of 15, 238 yards and 2 touchdowns, and yet they're feeling a little bit of pressure here right now, the University of Ottawa.
Momentum has shifted, no question.
Early in the 4th quarter, an 11-point game, 35-24. Regina opened the 4th quickly with a touchdown after a long drive. Along the ground, and they continue to run the ball well. That's Cote himself with it and picks up about 5 yards or more.
Back to the touchdown that got that momentum back for Darrell Leeson. Looks off the coverage, goes over the middle to Jason Claremont. He catches it a couple of times. It's the 2nd one that counts for the Major, though.
What a gutsy performance by Jason Claremont. We thought he was done for the day earlier.
second down and short for the GGs, and Cote passes on it. Oh, nearly intercepted. A flag is down. Ian Bunnell had nothing but an end zone staring ahead of him.
Ian Bunnell. The Rams were coming on a blitz, and I'm not so sure they didn't get there early.
Yeah, they did get there early. It came offside. You can see right on the edge. And that's what really forced Phil Cote, I think, to throw the ball early, seeing that the blitz was coming, and then he didn't really check out there. And
Regina.
Bunnell almost.
I believe it was Danny Pascu that came off the edge. He's linebacker that shifted up to the line of scrimmage, came off the edge, and was in that neutral zone.
Which would take some of the sting out of Bunnell not hanging on to that ball. It wouldn't have mattered anyway with the offside. But it's a first down on that penalty for the GGs up across their 45 on the option. And the toss. Defoe, Maxime Defoe. He's had some good carries today, and there's another one as he gets close to another first down, a gain of 9, Ottawa U.
You know, Regina are doing a very good doing a very good job right now on covering the back on the option pitch. Earlier in the game, you know, they were taking away Phil Cote, but they were leaving the back unguarded. But now they have a guy matching them, and
yeah, and you know what they did? It looks like to me they put Sheldon Gray, an extra defensive backup in there, and he's got a little more speed and quickness to be able to run down the back. Now, Maxime Dufault cut back on it.
And a quick hit inside. Michael Schaefer, he's had a touchdown this game. He's got a first down there. Across midfield, they just keep running it.
And, you know, I think Ottawa right now, you know, time is Regina's enemy. And so I think Ottawa are very content right now to continue to run the football. You know, 12.5 minutes left to go in this game, and to try and take away any momentum that Regina had.
And so far they've been doing it. And first down, 52 of Regina.
I mean, just look how long Phil Cote's taken before he puts the ball in play.
Running again. Ubrio. Patrice Ubrio, another first down to the Regina 40.
Well, it's been the problem for the Regina defense all game. They just can't force second and long. You know, that's a whole first down run right there.
That's right,
Rubio. But the Regina defense just can't get Phil Cote into a must-pass situation. They desperately need him to be in one right now to create a turnover. And as long as they keep churning up the ground game like this, it's hard to get that football back.
Rams defense needs to make a stand. They need the ball back. They can't afford to let Ottawa U score anymore. Cote calls his own number again, and another good gain on first down, at least 9 yards at the Regina 30, and close to another first down.
Luc Gilbert had a huge block to kick out the containment on the play, and Cote just ran up in there.
You can probably count on your one hand how many times Ottawa has been in second and long situations today.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, getting some good blocks from the offensive line, creating some holes, and whoever's running the football is not getting that first contact till about 7 or 8 yards down the field.
Second and short. One of many for Ottawa U. Just allowing them to give it to Shaver, and Michael Shaver bulls his way for another first down. Cote's had a great day passing the football, but they've been keeping it along the ground, and Cote, with him and Shaver carrying a lot of the load, Cote's had a great rushing day.
Well, he came into this game as a leading ball carrier in this football team. 627 yards rushing. 81 yards rushing now. Pretty good afternoon running the football.
Yeah, and give some credit to Marcel Belfait, who just didn't protect his starting quarterback. Just let him go, let him loose, and see how long and how much he can last in this football game, and he's lasted the whole way so far.
Another first down for the GGs as Cote will pass. Going deep, end zone, touchdown, GGs. Mike DiBattista gets another.
Phil Cote has done it all.
DiBattista has great speed. He showed it in the Churchill Bowl. He really was the only guy that ignited the passing game. At that time, it was James Baker. This time, it's Phil Cote. And Mike DiBattista right down the seam, gets in behind the Regina Rams best cover man and Matt Dean.
And you know the key is there, Glenn, is that when you're in man coverage like that, one thing that an experienced quarterback knows is lay it up, throw it over. You don't want to throw the low trajectory pass, and then Dean would have stepped in and knocked it away.
Converts yet another touchdown. The 6th TD of the day. Phil Cote and the GGs taking charge again of this Vanier Cup. Now, even if this is not Phil Cote's final football game, he may go play in Europe. This is his finest moment in football without question. Look at the day that he has had and another touchdown pass.
And Phil Cote just continues to do it all. Just gets back here and puts the ball up nice and high under a heavy rush. But the key is he puts the ball up nice and high and allows the receiver to run underneath it so that Matt Dean, the defender, cannot knock the ball away. And again, we go back to Mike DiBattista, and we say every second time he catches a ball, it's a touchdown. He's got 2 this afternoon.
A shorter kickoff for Ottawa and Leah. And the ball is copped up, but it goes out of bounds, so it is Rams football. Phil Cote has already been honored as the top player in the CIAU. That was last year when he won the Heck Crichton Trophy, but this is what it's all about for him, and he spoke earlier about what winning a Vanier Cup would mean.
It's a fairy tale ending to just an outstanding career for myself. I was just so happy to be able to start as a quarterback for Ottawa U and just had the most outstanding career anyone could ask for, and I get to end it up, you know, playing in the Vanier Cup, so that's something very special to me.
Played in the Vanier in '97. Phil Cote, after his first year in '96, was so discouraged he wanted to quit football. He was talked into staying. Said they had plans for him. There's Neil Hughes with a big gain. Regina all the way to the Ottawa U40. So they're down again by 18, but on a gain of 34, you can see the Rams are still not quitting, still trying to get back into this Vanier Cup.
Neil Hughes has a heart the big of the Sky Dome. I mean, this guy will just refuse to give up. He will not accept the final result or when he looks up on the scoreboard. You know, I formation, they run isolation, but Hughes kind of kicks it outside and makes a really good job. They're trying to take the fullback Olenek onto the linebacker, and then, you know, we saw him do this in the Atlantic Bowl and kickoff returns. This guy has great power and speed. 20 years old.
10 minutes exactly in the 4th quarter. Rams on the move quickly. It's Mike Thomas taking that one and getting another Regina first down.
Well, I have to agree with you guys. It would be very easy after that Phil Cote touchdown pass to Mike DiBattista for this football team to just fold its tent and just say, hey, it was a good try. We'll try next year. They're not.
You know, I think Rob brought up a really good point when we were in the Atlantic Bowl, saying this is a team, though, that is used to winning championships, even though not at the CIU level, but at the junior level. They know what it takes to win football games. This is not an organization that has a history of giving up. They have 15 championships to attest to that.
Greatest franchise in Canadian junior football history. Without question. Nearly intercepted by Lucas Shaver down inside the 10. And so it'll be 2nd down for Regina.
And you know, the thing is, he had Jason Claremont open in the end zone.
You know what?
Laid that up.
A little bit of miscommunication, though. I think he thought Jason Claremont was going to stay with the post over the middle, and what Claremont did is he straightened up his pattern. You're going to see Claremont right here go down the middle. See, he goes into the post, and then he straightens it up right there. And right when he straightened it up, that was when the ball was in the air. But Leeson didn't have a whole lot of time to make the decision. He had to get rid of it.
Matthew Goreski in the end there, number 92 for Ottawa U, and pressuring Leeson, and a 2nd down now. Rolling around. Oh, they got 4 chasing him there as he throws it up for Hughes. No good. Out of bounds. Just missed, and that was inside the 5.
That was a great play by Leeson to even get out of trouble.
Yeah, and this was a jailbreak from the start. I mean, this was the end of the play. Scrambled around, Leeson did, just finally got the ball off. But that was a jailbreak. He was scrambling from the get-go.
I'll tell you, Neil Hughes, you're going to hear a lot more from this guy. This guy is a dynamite football player. I mean, that ball was thrown outside. He was looking inside, located the football, made an adjustment, and almost came down with the ball in bounds.
An injured player down for Ottawa U. That's Kevin Gagnon. 9:08 to go in the fourth quarter, an 18-point GG lead.
Can Sprite make you a more extreme mountain biker? Not if you don't stay on your bike. All Sprite does is quench your thirst.
Action! I must stop this Christmas from coming. What would I wear?
This holiday, Sprite invites you to see Jim Carrey and Dr. Seuss's
The Grinch.
Duracell Ultra introduces their most powerful battery ever. With the advanced performance of new M3 technology, it's the most powerful alkaline battery in the world.
How the years, they fly by, fleeting glimpses, moments in our lives. Gotta hold on to them, catch them while you can. These are the moments, these are the moments. JBC holds the moments of our lives.
Here in the fourth quarter of the Vanier Cup, Darrell Leeson and the Regina Rams face a 3rd down and 10. They're down by 18. They must go for it.
Yeah, I don't think they have any choice right now. You know, 9:08 in the game with the score the way it is. You got to take a shot at it right here, and this could very well be the game for them.
They've been so resilient in the past in previous playoff games, and even in this Vanier Cup, trying to get closer again. The offense has worked so well, so much of this game. They need it again now, and Leeson needs to gain the 10 himself, and he does. Darrell Leeson keeps this drive alive, getting down to the Ottawa U15.
Well, he broke a key tackle, and he broke a tackle to keep the entire team's hopes alive.
But you see how Darrell Leeson, when he sees it's not there right away, boy, he makes up his mind, and he just accelerates through here and comes back inside. Does a real nice job of getting the first down. You know, I think people underestimate his speed because he's such a big guy, 6'4", 230. Looks like he's not moving that fast.
You know, Frank McChrystal said when he recruited him and watched film on him, he said he never got tackled. He just got pushed out of bounds. He's so hard to bring down.
Leeson again, running. And scrambling his way down to the 10, so a shorter gain that time. But he is running a lot, trying to keep Regina in this game.
Well, he needs more than one score, though, and the clock is their worst enemy right now.
Right.
And by the way, going for it on that 3rd and 10, they've gone for it on 3rd down 4 times already in this game, and they're 4 for 4. Living on the edge. That's the way they've had to be. Ottawa U put them in such a hole. That was a gain of 6, actually, for Leeson, so 2nd and 4. Knocking on the door again. Leeson, will he run again? He will. He pays a price there near the first down markers. He's ridden hard out of bounds.
I think it was Mark Pritzlaff. He came up and put a sting on him.
Yeah, we've seen Mark Pritzlaff make a couple of big hits today. One on the receiver coming across the middle, and now this one is going to be.
He was trying to make him a pretzel. Pritzlaff trying to make him a pretzel.
Well, that was quite a pop, and Regina does get a first down on the penalty, but it was awfully loud down there.
Oh, that's a linebacker saying to a quarterback, "Hey, cutie pie, what do you think of that?"
Hey, just watch Darrell Leeson's head snap here.
And on that first down at the 5-yard line, a 1st and goal, Corey Olenek takes the ball and picks up a couple more yards. And now the big guys are coming on. Seidlitz and Briltz and Eric Boschman. They're in short yardage situation again.
Doesn't get any bigger than Seidlitz.
370? Should think not.
Wow. That's like Seidlitz, like the side of a house.
But, you know, Regina's got to speed it up here a little bit. I mean, clock's down to 7 minutes now.
Hitting the 7-minute mark now on this 2nd and goal. Hughes, touchdown Rams, still in it.
You know what, Jamie, I couldn't agree with you more. It's a big touchdown, obviously, to keep the hopes alive for the Rams, but they took so long to get it done.
Right.
Still not in the hurry-up offense. Still taking a long time to get those big guys on the field. Absolutely right.
He's been pounding it in there hard all day. Neil Hughes, again in that power I formation. And you know, he goes sideways, so he doesn't give anybody a lot to hit, and he gets himself into the end zone. Now, it'll be interesting now to see what Regina decide to do here on the kickoff, whether or not to go with a short kick. I would think they would have to, I think, to get back in here.
Now you're down by 12. Basically, need 2 scores.
And they haven't been able to stop the run all afternoon, so you got to get the ball in your offense's hands.
John Ryan about to make it an 11-point game, which he does, so a touchdown with a 2-point convert and a field goal. That's a lot to ask, especially the way the GGs move the ball, and they'll have it back. The Vanier Cup. This scoring drive, the Rams get it in again. A 9-play, 75-yard drive, and Darrell Leeson did a lot of running on that one.
Took too long. That's the only problem you have with it, is it took too long. 3 minutes and 41 seconds when you're behind is an eternity. You got to get things moving a little earlier, and Neil Hughes, the guy who finishes it off.
We have one. Right, but Crystal showing great confidence in his defense. He decided to kick it deep.
Ran with it and taken down by Ian Bunnell. A good tackle in the open field at the 20 after an 8-yard return only. So Ottawa U's presented with a long field here with 6:50 to go.
I mean, if you're the Rams now, this is the time to put your linebackers in the gaps, try and fill them across the line of scrimmage, get 7 or maybe even bring the safety up and make it 8 in the box. Get Phil Cote in a 2nd and long. You really have to do it now.
Right, and you know, I agree with that, and I think what you're going to see Cote do is try to run around the end. I mean, he's going to try and say, hey, everybody's stacked up inside. So you're right, they got to worry about all those gaps inside, but they also got to worry about containing this guy here. I mean, this guy can run with the football. I mean, he's got great speed.
Because, Jamie, right now, offensively, you're going into this situation thinking, let's run the ball on 1st down. If we can get 6, 7, 8, we take some time off the clock, right? You're trying to think ball control. On defense, I'm saying let's plug all the gaps. Right. Let's force 2nd and long, make you throw it. Which could be pick your poison for Phil Cote.
No, exactly. I mean, he's such a dangerous runner.
Let's go defense.
But really, your best chance for the turnover is on the interception. And you can't get that if you're going to get 7 or 8 yards on 1st down. So it's up to those big boys up front right now to get it done.
The GGs led 35-10 at the half. Their play selection in the 2nd half, 11 rushing plays, only 3 passing plays. And it shows in the scoreboard because Regina's outscored them in this.
There you go.
2nd half, but running the ball again, and this Cote keeps it.
But not bad. Not bad for the Saskatchewan defense. They had everybody up there. They knew we were going to get run. Jamie, you mentioned he's going to take it to the outside. Exactly what he did. But that's not bad to get him in 2nd and 7.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in 2nd and 7 very often today, that's for sure. And now it's decision time for Marcel Belfait, whether or not he's going to throw the ball or keep it on the ground. I think what they're going to try and do is get Cote outside and give him some type of an option, whether or not to run with it or to throw it.
This is already the 4th highest scoring game in Vanier Cup history in combined points.
That's right. In the #1 game was the Western Saskatchewan game back in 1994, 50-40 for Western.
Well, they're all on the line now.
Out of the shotgun, Cote to pass, and 2nd down, a big one for Regina. They have him, but he gets out of it. How'd he do that? How'd he do that? Still on the run. Do they have him now? Trying to get close to a 1st down, he coughs it up. Regina football.
Go, baby. It's not over yet.
Regina ball.
You know, sometimes you can try and do too much. Cote scrambled. He didn't have it. He should have been caught at the beginning of the play. He should have been caught right here.
And it was a really good job by Regina to contain him, because he looked like he wanted to go outside initially, but now you got to know sometimes you got to give it up here, because you get back inside and the ball pops loose, and Regina right there. Turnovers have been the bane for Ottawa in this half.
Well, they did. The Saskatchewan defense, though, did what they had to do on first down. Force a passing situation. You get a chance to create a turnover. Darrell Leeson has the football because of it.
11-point game, 5 minutes left. Oh, Parody! Sacks Leeson. Patrick Parody takes him down. It'll be 2nd and long.
We had a bit of a mismatch there. He had Corey Olenek trying to take on Patrick Parody, and Parody got around the corner on him. And Parody is a leading sacker in this GG team. Came into this game with 8 sacks on the season. That's #1 for the Ottawa defense.
And guess what, guys? Starting tackle is out of the game and was out early. Gary Block. Guess where Parody comes from? The backside. He ends up on the back. One-on-one. He comes up to the side.
Out of the shotgun and 2nd and long for Leeson. Throwing it over. Shy of first down yardage, however. It's caught there by Thomas. Mike Thomas with it, but it'll still be a 3rd and long, 4:11 on the clock and counting.
And now Ottawa has an injury as well down there. We already see Franz Jacques gone out of the game. And now Matthias Denadu is hurt, #22, so they're down to their 3rd or their 4th corner right now. And that could loom huge.
Yeah, and Frank McChrystal, I think, will take the field goal here for sure. You're down 11 points. You take the field goal, you're in scoring range now. Now you're a 2-point convert off a major away from tying the football game. With plenty of time at 4:06.
Well, 3 minutes in the CFL or in the Canadian football is an eternity.
Big kick coming up here for John Ryan.
Little bit of pressure on John Ryan right now.
Only 19 years old, out of Sheldon Williams High School in Regina.
He's 2 of 3 in the playoffs. His longest in the playoffs, 40 yards. He's lined up right now at 37. So he's pushing the limit on the length so far in the playoffs. But this is a big one. 7 of 13 on the season.
And his biggest kick so far in the playoffs was actually a punt. A 32-32 tie. Last play of the game against the Calgary Dinos, and they were down close, and they punted it in, and they won it that way by a single point. They need 3 here to get within 1 2-point converted touchdown, tying Ottawa U. An unlikely scenario, to be sure, at halftime when it was a 25-point lead for the GGs. Back the Rams have come. Ryan from 37 blocked by Ottawa U. And trying to return it now. It is GG football, and they maintain the 11-point lead with a big special teams play.
You know, it was a high snap, but I don't know that it would have got off anyway.
It was low. You're right. The trajectory was very low off of the kick.
The snap was high, but I thought Shane Ostapowicz went up and got it and brought it down in time to get the kick off. And obviously John Ryan made contact. Take a look for yourself. High snap. There's the hold. It was in time, but I don't know. That was a low kick. And
wait, what I'm surprised at there, Glenn, is that when you get the offensive line, when you do running that, you have to take a hard step inside. You watch, the offensive line gets his shoulders turned, and he comes right up the middle.
Yeah, it's Patrick Parody.
So the GGs take over. Cote is airing it up this time.
Yeah,
and it's no good.
Marcel Beltway went over there after that last series and said, forget this conservative running the ball on first down thing. Let's get back to the way we got the lead, and that's playing aggressively offensively.
Absolutely. I think he sent a message to his offense right now that we are going to be much more aggressive.
The intended receiver was Mike DiBattista, who's a couple of touchdowns for the GGs in this game, and he is the one who is injured right now down to the GGs bench.
Looking at his left shoulder or arm.
Again, the Saskatchewan defense has done what they had to do on first down.
3.5 to go. 2nd down. White. Jeremy White has it, but not a first down. And Ottawa U has to punt.
Success on first down. And again, they do what they have to do. 4 2nd and long. Now they're going to get the football back. Now they're starting to control the game a little.
Now let's also talk about field position here, because Kevin Gagnon has not been putting the heck out of the ball today, and you know he's a very slow, deliberate type kicker.
Absolutely right, and that first part of the game was almost blocked. You know, if he rushes this at all, no matter where it ends up, the Rams are going to have decent field position, if not on Ottawa's side of center.
And you know they're going to keep it out of Neil Hughes' hands. He's been told probably to kick it out of bounds on the short side of the field.
These returners, Hughes and Ashman, showing a lot of respect for Gagnon. He's had 2 punts. Both have been well under 30. That's clearly his best of the day on his third, so they had it marked properly. Hughes inside the Rams 50. Neil Hughes gets up to midfield, and the Rams have the ball on an 8-yard return after a 34-yard punt. 2:41 on the clock in the fourth. Rams with the ball just inside midfield. Neeson completes it to Chris Warnicki. And he has another first down for the Rams on the move, and they have to keep moving. 2:30 on the clock.
Now they go into the hurry-up offense under 3 minutes, and Darrell Leeson will call the rest of the plays on the line of scrimmage.
The Rams are used to this. All 3 playoff games, it came down to last-minute stuff when they were trailing. Over again. Claremont, it's picked off by Ottawa U. Christopher Schuld.
The extra defensive back in the game, Rod. Christopher Schuld gets the deflection. Ball is tipped in the linebacking core. Pretzlaff, was it? No. It was Michel Dupuis. Gets his hands on it, tips it up, and Schuld comes up with the interception.
Darrell Leeson was looking for Jason Claremont, his favorite receiver, and you see number 58 in the picture covering, but the ball was tipped.
And intercepted. Another turnover.
2:18 in the clock. Things looking a lot better for Ottawa now as they go back to what works so well, the running game. Ali Ajram taking it on a first down up across the 45.
Okay, is the wide there or short? No, go short. 37. Okay,
Oh, Dutchie's got fans everywhere, especially from Saskatchewan, and Darren Detition and Thea Andrews will have Guys TV coming up after us tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. Darren Detition from Porcupine Plain, Saskatchewan. Kevin Barron in the Rams lineup tonight, the defensive tackle on the field now, also from Porcupine Plain. And running on first down, Cote, and getting next to nothing there. It'll be second and long.
Well, you can't say that the Rams didn't create some opportunities to get back in this football game. You think a couple of plays made the difference in the fourth quarter, a blocked field goal attempt. That changes everything for Saskatchewan, or for Regina if they can get that. They get the ball back, and now the defense for Ottawa's got to back off.
Well, just think in this second half alone, Regina has only allowed 7 points. I mean, it was the first half that killed them, allowing 35.
You saw Kevin Barron there. That defense gets some big help right there as Cote trips up and falls back to the 40. So 1:32 on the clock.
Yeah, now if I'm Frank McChrist, I put them all on the line of scrimmage and go after this punter.
Absolutely. No question about that.
Okay, he's a deliberate punter, and he's deliberately trying to kick it away from Neil Hughes. And when you're doing that, you're looking up, you're peeking, you're trying to directional punt the football. It takes you longer to get it off.
And the thing is, now he's kicking from the left hash, so you want to have your rush probably from your defensive right, offensive left, because he's going to try and kick it in that direction.
There's Neil Hughes, 2 big returns in the Atlantic Bowl 2 weeks ago in Halifax.
And you notice where they line Neil Hughes up. He's always on the short side because they know that Ottawa's trying to angle it into that corner.
Chris Ashman is back with him. The punt for Kevin Gagnon. He had a 34-yarder. The last time out, his best punt. This will be his 4th punt of the day. He hasn't had to do a lot of this just because of Cote and that GG offense. He only punted once in the first half, and that was on the first possession. On their next 4 possessions, they reeled off 4 straight touchdowns.
Those eyes are getting awfully big, aren't they?
Gagnon standing at his 25.
Here he comes.
They bring it, but they don't get close. And this one will go to Neil Hughes at his 40. Hughes, some good hitting down there across the 50. Gets it to about the Regina 52 after a 27-yard punt. 1:22 in the clock, a 42-31 Ottawa U lead, and time is running out on the Regina Rams.
Now, I'm sure right here they're going to call a couple of plays in the huddle right now and say, you know, when we get the first down or whatever happens, we're going to run this next play. We can't waste any time. They need a quick score here.
Whatever happens here, what a remarkable run it's been for Regina. 2-4 in mid-October, and they haven't lost since. And they've come this close in just their second year in the CIAU. Leeson passing, completing the pass to his brother Michael, and out of bounds across midfield. It'll be second down.
Well, it really is a great run that they've had, no matter how this game ends up. The Rams, their last 5 games of the year, including the 3 playoff games, really surprised a lot of people. Remember, this team was 0-8 in year 1.
You know, you think when they were 2-4, the CIAU canceled all their travel plans to go to any postseason activity because they thought they didn't have a hope of making it anywhere. And
you saw the man on the sideline on the bench injured. That was Jed Zimmer, their great linebacker. Pass out of bounds, incomplete. It'll be second down, Regina.
You know, and the future is right there too, because you look at Darrell Leeson, who says he may play again next year.
He has the year of eligibility.
That's right. He has 1 more year, and as does most of the players for Regina. They, you know, most of them are in their second year of eligibility because they just got here.
Yeah. You know, I'm a little surprised at kind of the play calling here right now, trying to get the ball out of bounds, because in the CIU rules, if you get a first down, the clock stops and does not start again until the sticks get set, so you have plenty of time to get up underneath the ball.
This is third down. Leeson. No. And that'll do it. 1:10. The flag is down, however. There is a flag down in the secondary for the GGs.
Was it a pick or was it a rub?
I think it's a hold here.
No flag. First down.
There's that mysterious no flag call again.
No flag, and not much hope for the Regina Rams now as the Ottawa U GGs.
Stop the ball now!
And we give praise rightfully to the Rams, but how about Ottawa U? Going to the Vanier in 97, 2 players caught with steroid use then, and then 2 academically ineligible players gave the program sanctions for 2 years. Larry Ring was out. Marcel Belfait took over. They went 8-0 last year, but because they couldn't host a playoff game, they went to Laval, and they lost their first game then, and the Rouge et Or went on and won the national championship.
I think that would have to stick in you for a long time, you know, the kind of season they had last year, and now I'm sure Marcel feels that big monkey off of his back. Andy McAvoy standing beside him. He used to play quarterback at the University of Ottawa, now the offensive coordinator.
GG's have had some great teams. 1 national title to show for it. That was back with Neil Lumsden in 1975.
And you know, guys, when you look at Marcel Belfait, and I was over there in the Churchill Bowl talking to him after that win, and I think what they can be most proud of is that they really showed what football is really all about, the ultimate team game. Remember, they went into Laval without Phil Cote. They went into McMaster without Phil Cote and won both those games. The rest of the team rallied, and they really proved that football is the ultimate game, the ultimate team game.
GG's now can kill the clock. They lead by 11. There's not much the Rams can do. Ajram with it on that second down, and they can punt it away, but even a return for a touchdown would still make it next to impossible for the Rams now with 44 seconds left in the clock.
You know, it's interesting talking to Marcel Belfait a couple years ago, and we were talking about the bowl rotations and what would it be like for the OQ, the league that he's in, to have to go out west. And, you know, a lot of coaches get defensive about, oh, I don't want my team to travel, I want to host a playoff game at home. And he said, listen, the road to the Vanier Cup goes through Western Canada. You got to beat a Western team, a Western Canadian team to win it. He said, I don't care if I have to go out there or I have to meet him in my home park or I'll meet him in the Vanier Cup. But in order to win, you got to beat those guys.
Kevin Gagnon standing back to punt again. 37 and counting seconds left in the clock, and the GGs can smell another national championship of Vanier Cup. It's in their grasp. They're bringing everybody as they should, but Gagnon still gets it away to the one-man back. Neil Hughes taken down, and good coverage there by the GGs after a 27-yard punt. Oh, what a game he has had.
You know, Phil Cote just doesn't want this game to end, actually. You know, this is the last game of his career. You're having so much fun. Actually, he probably does want to think because it has been close, but, I mean, you just don't want to leave the field. You want to keep the uniform on. And, you know, you have to also think, there's a first here today. This is the first time the OQ has won back-to-back Vanier Cups.
First time ever.
36 years.
Winning last year. And it was after Ottawa used last Vanier in 75. Jamie Bowen and the Mustangs strung together a couple with Western, and you had only 4 incompletions in 1977. A remarkable achievement that has been bettered now by Cote today here at Skydome.
It's a great performance by him.
Airing it out. Claremont has it. Jason Claremont down to the 25. 7 seconds to go now. The Rams keep going, but Phil Cote.
And to think that on November 11th in Laval, Phil Cote thought that his season was over right then when he went down. Right in that playoff game early in the first quarter. And I talked to him 2 weeks ago, and he was just saying, I just want one more chance. Just give me that extra 2 weeks to get in that Vanier. James Baker provided that, the backup quarterback, and a good team effort. He's got a chance to finish it off and stop.
A touchdown for the Rams, but it's a moot point now because in 75 it was Lumsden. A quarter of a century later, it's Cote leading the way. The Garnet and Gray have their second Vanier Cup.
Premature, that celebration. They have to allow
the extra point.
Right, Regina to kick the extra point. Or Regina will go for 2 here, I'm sure. It's academic now, but
well, even as it stands now, 79 points, and that makes it already the second highest scoring Vanier Cup in history. As Jamie had mentioned, it was 90 points with Western and Saskatchewan in overtime back in 1994. But
well, we thought it might be a shootout.
It certainly was.
A lot of points scored.
And now we know why Marcel Belfoy said, hey, I don't want to get into a shootout. I wonder, this is why.
A little nerve-wracking for coaches, but anytime Regina came back, that man, Phil Cote, had an answer.
And, you know, to put it in perspective on how well Regina played this afternoon, this was a team that Ottawa only allowed 6.5 points per game average this season.
Marcel Belfoy, an Ottawa native.
Early shower.
Needs a change of clothes. Played for the GGs in the mid-'80s. Was their assistant coach, and you see the celebration going on all over. And guys, I can't remember a championship game, something this big, ending on a touchdown for the other team. Which is kind of used the celebration a little bit here.
And good for the Rams. I mean, no matter what was on the scoreboard, this offense never gave up. They're going to go for 2 now. It doesn't matter, but that's what this team has shown all year long.
And if they get this 2 points, does that blocked field goal ever loom big?
Good point. Leeson running around. Last play of the game, and it is 2 points. How about that? What was a 25-point lead for Ottawa U at the half turns out to be a 3-point victory, but a victory nonetheless for Marcel Belfoy and his Ottawa U GGs, Vanier Cup champions.
And gentlemen, I think that's the player of the game right there.
No question.
What a show put on by Cote in his final game in the CIAU. And it does end with the dream the way he hoped it would. The MVP of this game, the Ted Morris Trophy winner, Phil Cote and Vanier Cup 36.
And just think, Phil Cote's done it all. Won a Heck Crichton, won a national championship, and won the Ted Morris Trophy. He's the most valuable player in the Vanier Cup.
Get him in a pro camp, see what he can do.
Yeah.
Heartbreak for Frank McChrystal. It was over a little earlier. than this with about 30 to 40 seconds left. It was guaranteed an Ottawa U win, but I mean the final score will show a 3-point game, a close finish.
And you know, the Regina Rams have made a statement though that they have arrived in the CIAU and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the next few years.
An inspired effort by both teams. Over 1,000 net yards. You see Neil Lumsden there on a handshake as the Vanier Cup comes out to be presented to the Ottawa UGGs, celebrating their second national championship and their first in 25 years. It's been a pleasure bringing this game to you here on TSN. From all of us here, thanks for watching. The Vanier Cup. Ottawa U is the champion.